I really appreciate you guys. We're going to get rolling in just a few minutes. If you're just now coming into the chat or you've been here for a while, please click the like button. That does a tremendous help to me. We got a few topics on deck for tonight. William Barr's testimony. Did you watch testimony earlier today? Did you not watch it? What do you think about it either way it goes? Venezuela, what's going on with that? Are we going to have a coup in Venezuela? Will the U.S. be involved? Also, the Pope Francis, donating $500,000 to the so-called migrant caravan. What's that all about? Why is he interfering in our politics? Why not be worried about the Vatican and what's going on there? Jussie Smollett got the axe. Well, not really the axe. He got hired and then put on the bench. Kind of like being on the college basketball team and you get redshirted. He's not going to be there anymore, but he'll still get paid. There are quite a few topics on deck for tonight. We're going to get into all of them. And I just want to thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate you guys. We're going to get into all those topics and much more. If you got anything you want me to discuss, please let me know in the comments and we'll get to it. And that is my cue to go ahead and get on the camera. So thank you all for being here on tonight's episode of ABL Live. I really appreciate you. All right. And if you're just now coming into the stream, if you're in here live or you're watching the restream, please click the like button right on the video and also subscribe if you are a first-time viewer. There should be a red button beneath me that says, well, it should be red. Click that button and make it gray if you're not subscribed. Also, click on the bell right beside it if you have not done so already. I know many of you have. Just for the newcomers, do that for me. That'd be fantastic. But everybody, click the like button, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. And thank y'all for joining. I most certainly appreciate you. Have you guys seen the William Barr testimony or any of the media's coverage of it? It's pretty, it's pretty skewed one way, if I do say so myself. It's not really fair, but hey, it is what it is. Not surprised at all. And shout out to everybody in the building, coming from all over the place. Thank you all who are here already. Wait on the stream to start. Omar Adams, Nolan Baptiste, Wisconsin Girl, Matt McKee, Omnipresent, Oseft. I know I butchered that one. Who we got? James Elliott, Feral Inferno, David, Comeback Kid, Sheila, Sheila, Matt McKee, Mike Tapes, D Dixon. Shout out to everybody. Omar Adams, Willman757, Brain, Damage, Hip Hop Independent, The Rapper 10,000, Kimberly Peru, I see you. Coming from Arizona. Yeah, Empire, they brought him back, but they didn't bring him back. They want to have him be on the show, but it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for a variety of reasons, especially if he gets implicated in that whole civil suit. If they say that he has to pay, then that's kind of like saying that he did it without saying he did it. Shout out to Nolo King from earlier. I saw you in the chat. Thank you for joining. Hopefully you're able to call into the show. What's going on, JB? I am human. Let me see. Thank you all. Has anybody seen the William Barr testimony? I did not have time to see it today. I heard about it a little bit. I'm watching some clips from CNN. They're talking about, Kamala Harris cornered William Barr with this question. He couldn't answer it. She stumped him, this, that, and the third. But, CNN, take it with a grain of salt. Occasionally, they may have a correct thing to say. They may say it's 12:03 p.m. Eastern time, and it actually matches the time. Sometimes that does happen. But aside from that, a lot of what they place, especially on television, is just not accurate. And then they do a whole lot of opinion pieces, from Chris Khaleesi, that cringeworthy guy. The cringe master, he just puts out pretty much anything. So it's kind of hard to tell what's really going on with that. Maurice Palmer says, what up, ABL? Barr did his thing today. Now, I'm hearing that he did, but of course, the leftist media won't say that he did. Now, I almost streamed it hearing David Day, but I figured it'd be the entire day, and I just don't have the time. I'm covering different stories and making videos and doing a live stream, and then at a certain point, I got to eat and get something to drink, so I just didn't have the time. So we could talk about it if anybody has seen it. This would be the place to amplify what you were able to get from it. This would be a platform to be able to get information out there to people that did not have time to see it, as I did not have time to see it. And maybe I might do like a little wrap up of it tomorrow if I find some clips and I'm able to, get some stuff from it. But if it's not much there, then there's no point in doing a wrap up, because it could be simply stated possibly that Barr repeated himself over and over again and the left didn't want to hear it. That's kind of a short summary right there, if I do say so myself. Yeah, Barr's a smart guy. Shout out to William Barr. It was this one guy, I forget his name, but if you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments below. It was a guy that was on, it may have been Fox or MSNBC, one of these television stations, and the girl tried to insinuate that William Barr was a liar, or he wasn't really being truthful, he wasn't being on the up and up. And another guy was there, I presume he was a lawyer as well, snapped on her. How dare you say that about my friend William Barr? I known him 30 years. He would never do such a thing like that. How dare you? You can't say that. Like, he went off. He was just totally just incensed that somebody would say that about William Barr. And that's kind of what I get about him. He's not the kind of guy that's just going to be saying whatever. That's kind of what I get. So shout out to that guy for defending William Barr so vehemently. All right. Shout out to everybody in here. You got SOBC, Hamzat Queen, Hamzat Karen. Okay. Dick Fella says, don't be lazy, ABL. Food is for the weak. That's hilarious. Yeah. But, Ted Cruz nailed it. Fox News clip. Okay. I got to check out what Ted Cruz said. Ted Cruz, shout out to Ted Cruz. And shout out to Lindsey Graham for dropping the F-bomb on TV. Because he was reading from what Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, that's their names, yes. What they said about him, they called Trump a effing idiot or something to the equivalent. And he said the word just like it was nothing. And then he was like, sorry to the kids out there. It's like, oh, wow, okay. It's a little late now, but it's whatever. Lindsey Graham 2.0 is a funny guy. Trump's new ad for 2020 rips Obama. I wonder what he said in the ad. I got to check that out, too. Nolo King says Kamala Harris really embarrassed herself with a line of questioning. Only watched a bit of it. 5 hours is too long for me. Yeah, way too long. Like, I almost started to stream it, but then I was like, no, it's going to be all day long. And I don't have the time to stream that long because I got to do other things. I got to do more. Oh, yeah, Mike Tapes, the Walmart's in South Virginia. Yeah, you see, the thing about the Walmarts, I was offended by that because I love the South Virginia. I'm from South Virginia, so they're talking about coming to my particular area and they're saying, oh, this is ghetto, this is trash. But that happens with people, in DC. They come from other places. A lot of times they come from privileged backgrounds. They're not used to rural areas or smaller areas. They're used to that big city, big money. They're used to that. But see, what they don't understand is that the working people of the country contribute to them being able to live how they live in Washington, D.C., with all these amenities that come from the federal government's money. Because D.C. and the metro area is, if not the richest, one of the top 2 or 3 richest in the entire nation. And all that money that comes through there is generated from the federal government. What other industry is in the D.C. area? What, crabbing in the Chesapeake Bay or the Potomac River? Like, what industry is right there? It's the government. The government money fuels all the industry up there for the most part, one way or another. People spending money at the local stores. They got jobs as consultants and, aides and writers and, quality control and all kind of other people that have ancillary functions to the government. Those that work in the government and those that are in government as officials, all that money is in D.C. and it fuels the industry. So when you come to Southern Virginia and you say, oh, it stinks down here, this, that, and the third, you're disrespecting those who contribute to you being able to eat, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. But it is what it is. I can't expect for them to understand that. Oh, yeah, that's definitely what turned Virginia blue Mike Tapes, is all the DC people that come from different parts of the world, different parts of the country. A lot of these DC implants, and they're going to vote blue because Democrats expand government. So that's going to be their lifeline to get more jobs, to get more funding. They're not going to be conservative and for smaller government because that will go against their particular, their purpose of being able to actually get more cash from the government. That it just wouldn't make any sense. Now, is anybody in Virginia Beach? Did you guys go to something in the water festival, or how did that go? Because I know how Virginia Beach is like on College Beach weekend. There's a lot of problems. Well, that's what I hear. I'm not there anymore. But hopefully this one was better because of Pharrell's involvement, and it wasn't just like, it was more of an official festival. So less of the ragtag stuff that was going on before. It's more of an official thing. So hopefully it went well for you guys down there in Virginia Beach. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I have no idea where she is. And no clue whatsoever. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I feel like at this point is missing. Somebody should call the cops and be like, show us RBG right now, or we're going to just go, we're going to go in the crib and see what's really going on. I've not seen her. I've not seen her since last year, really. They said earlier this year that she had been seen at some kind of speaking engagement. I can't tell. Where are the pictures? They said it, but I never saw her. So what's really going on? Is she back on Capitol Hill? I've not seen her. I heard that she came back to work, actually, but who has seen Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Maybe I'm just missing her. Maybe my ears aren't to the ground. My eyes aren't on the prize. I don't know what's going on, but I've not seen her. So it's kind of weird. What else we got going on here? Oh, the Venezuela coup. A coup. Now, people are saying that the U.S. is involved with this. It's the U.S. that's doing it. I mean, at a certain point, governments fail. Socialism does not work. So if the government is failing and people are in the streets rioting and protesting, how is that the U.S.'s fault? I mean, they have oil money, yes, but that doesn't mean anything. You got a lot of poor countries that shouldn't be poor, that are mismanaged, that have plenty of oil money. Nigeria is one of them, plenty of oil money, but yet 80% of the population, $2 a day, disease, corruption, all that's going on. So the oil money is relevant when you have a country that's run like that. The country must be run efficiently and effectively, and if it's not, you're going to have serious issues. It's very simple. So I really don't understand why people are trying to say that the Venezuela coup is because of the U.S. I mean, this has been going on for quite a while with the starvation. I mean, are we starving the Venezuelan people? We're dropping them aid. We're giving them actual food to eat. So, I mean, if we didn't give them food to eat, then how would they eat? I really don't know. Ruth hanging out with Waldo. So it's pretty weird. Oh man, the UK, I can't even tell you what's going on with the UK. That whole situation over there, I feel like some countries, unfortunately, may be too far gone. Hopefully the UK is not one of those countries, but some countries in Western Europe, I mean, well, I can't say too far gone because you could come back from despair. You know, these countries, I mean, if you look at the long game, it can happen over a long period of time. But in the short run, I just don't see how it's able to come back from the abyss. You got so much indoctrination. People out there don't know who they are. They might got 10 genders, 30 genders. They have no clue what's going on with themselves. They're just totally lost in the sauce. People like that, how are they really going to change? You know, on a large scale to make a difference. Some make change, but how is everyone going to change? And then how will they impact the country? One thing about Londonistan or Great Britannistan is that they're importing people from one part of the world, the Islamic world, and they all pretty much link up together. More specifically from Pakistan, that's where they're coming from. They all link up together in UK. They form little enclaves, and then before you know it, you have little what's that? What's that? Karachi, whatever that city is. You know what I'm talking about in Pakistan, Lahore, and all kind of stuff like that. You have those cities in UK. But that shouldn't be like that. Those cities should be in Pakistan, not UK. But that's what's happening. And until you fix that problem, you're not really going to be able to fix the issues that these European nations in the Western part are having. Poland does not have these problems, but Germany does. Now, Germany is right next door to Poland. So why is it that Germany has these issues and Poland does not? It's because of their policies. It's because of their leadership. You see how easy that is? You can have a country with all the money, all the resources, everything you need, but you don't have the proper leadership. Your policies that are on the books aren't favorable, so you're going to suffer as a result. It's very simple. Yeah, people are mad at Angela Merkel in Germany. That's correct. What do I feel about Q? I don't know much about Q, honestly. I really don't. People say that a lot, but I'm just kind of clueless as to what's going on with Q. I hear it a lot, but I just don't follow it, so I don't know. I say whatever it is, hopefully it's positive. Oh, there's plenty of walls all over the place. We have a wall at the southern border. All we gotta do is finish it. All we gotta do is finish the wall. It's funny how the Pope and people like that want to try to donate to the migrant caravan and all this and that and the third, talking about don't build the wall. And the Pope is a whole different story. He has a wall around the Vatican. And then some would say, oh, it's not a real wall because you got gates in it. You can come in as you please. Well, the wall structure is there. So if they wanted to shut it up to prevent outside invaders, all they got to do is just put some simple gates up and then it's done, because the big structure to prevent outside invaders is there. You're talking about a gigantic wall. I don't know if there's brick, cinder block, whatever it is, it's pretty solid. And I don't think you're going to get anything really in there. No artillery or nothing. So they're pretty well guarded. And if it's not about having walls, then why not just become part of Italy and not have your own sovereign state? Because sovereign states must be defended at the border. In order to have sovereignty, you must have some kind of bloodshed, because you got to be able to separate from where you are, become your own nation, and defend your nation. Okay, so if the Vatican does not believe in walls, if they're not for separation, then become another city in Italy. San Marino, all these places, just become another city in Italy. How about that? That would make sense to me. Just relinquish your statehood, your countryhood, or whatever that is, and just become a regular Italian city. I mean, that makes sense to me, because if you're not going to do that, then you can't say that America can't have walls, that we can't have a border, that we can't police ourselves, that we can't police others that try to come into the country illegally. I just don't understand how anybody can really say that out their mouth, but it is what it is. Thank you to Patty for the donation. Definitely appreciate you. I really, really do. Now, as far as Venezuela is concerned, I'm not really sure that, well, I know that intervention military-wise is not going to be a good thing to do. Now, will we do it? I actually doubt it. I think I saw Trump says he wants to have a peaceful resolution to the whole situation, a peaceful maybe transition, because the people are siding with Juan Guaido somewhat. I don't know the percentages. That's one thing I like to know. Who is siding with Guaido in Venezuela and who is siding with Maduro? I'm not really sure why you want to side with Maduro, because obviously the country's not going very well. You got starvation happening, you got sanctions happening, and the aid that's trying to come in is being blocked by the Maduro regime. When are they going to stop blocking it? They're able to get, when I say they, I mean the Venezuelan people, they're able to get some aid, but they're not able to get that much. Part of my eye. I got something in my eye. They're able to get some American aid, but not much. Not as much as needed, because you got Maduro and his goons blocking the aid from coming in. And we ain't talking about weapons. We ain't talking about none of that. We're talking about just basic food supplies that you should have to eat food. You know, just basic things that you would get. So it is what it is. Yeah, hopefully we don't get involved in a military way. That wouldn't be a desirable outcome. Not at all. 80% support Guaido. Well, there we go. They should be able to have that peaceful transition. And hopefully hopefully the Venezuelan troops will secede effectively from Maduro and support One guy though, I heard that Maduro is surrounded by Cuban troops because he does not trust his own military. That might make sense for him to be supported by the other communists who are pretty much in the failing country, because your own people realize how communism, socialism, whatever you want to call it, does not work. They realize that people are starving. I mean, I saw or heard a stat that said the average Venezuelan has lost 20 pounds in a very recent point in time, or they're 20 pounds lighter than what they should be. It's absurd. You got neighboring countries that have had a very checkered past, a lot of violence, like Colombia, Brazil. They have poverty issues, yes, but nothing to the extent of you seeing regular everyday folks in the middle of the street starving to death and beating up zoo animals to eat them. That's always one of the first things that goes is the food. When you talk about socialism, it's a very simple thing to predict, because when you so-called control the means of production, you're not going to be efficient like that. All you're going to do is put a government bureaucracy red tape on top of a functioning private industry that provides food, that provides clothing, that provides shelter. So when you do that, you reduce the efficiency of it. Therefore, you're going to have a shortage. You know, you got famines all over the place in places where the government is in control. They say, okay, we're going to regulate the food. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But what ends up happening is they don't do it very well. The private companies that you enlist to do these things are going to do so well because they're going to hire the best talent and they're going to cultivate them. And they have a motivation to produce well, because if they don't produce well, there could be a variety of consequences. The first thing would be they're going to have people that don't like their product. They're going to go elsewhere. The second thing would be there could be some criminal action. Oh, you had tainted bacon with E. coli and romaine with the same thing, E. coli. Now you put it in the stores. We got to do a recall. You're going to lose some money. Oh, somebody got sick from it. They're going to sue you. So those are motivational factors to be able to actually perform well in your job and excel, okay, and innovate. But when you don't have that, when you can just get a check for nothing, you're going to be at your desk at a DMV-like office playing on your iPhone, playing Candy Crush. Meanwhile, you got somebody in the food emergency is about to start death in front of you. You're like, well, look, take a number, have a seat, we'll get to you as soon as we can. And there's no real rush because you're getting paid regardless. There's no incentive. You see what I'm saying? Those incentives really make a difference. They really actually help. Okay, now somebody's saying I'm lying. What am I lying about? We'll get to the cause in a moment, but if I'm lying, if I say the wrong thing ever, please let me know. If that was for me, I'm not sure if that was for me or not. I saw something that said stop lying. But one thing I don't do is lie. So if I'm incorrect about something, let me know. Then we can talk about it. Let me see. Yeah, everybody's in Venezuela. The thing about it is everyone's in every country. People talk about Americans intervening. What about the Chinese and the Russians and everybody else? The Chinese are everywhere. The Chinese are in Africa. They're in Europe. They're here in the United States. They're coming here illegally. Where do you think Robert Kraft was at that little, down low spot? Doing whatever he was doing. Who you think was doing that? Was it, Mary Beth from Pine Glades, Florida or something? No. You're talking about Fondant from Beijing. That's who was doing that, okay? And there's a lot of that going on in the United States. They're doing all types of stuff here. Not only are they engaging in the illegal activities, the drugs, prostitution, they're also taking a lot of our businesses, not by force, really, but they're buying them up. They own Smithfield Foods, which produces a lot of ham, pork, bacon, whatever. They have taken that over. So you got Chinese people or Chinese investors in America buying up American food sources that are grown locally here in America or processed locally here in America. All right. So that's a big time problem. And they're also taking a lot of our former cities, scrap, to build their new cities. A lot of them are ghost cities, but that's a different story. They're taking what we used to have and building up their particular place with it. That's how that goes. And the end result is to have the one belt, one road where everybody trades with China and or produces goods for China and or sends China food. That's how that goes. And also it's a dumping ground for Chinese trash if they need it. Although we put a lot of trash there, but we don't do it anymore because of the terrorists. So that's a different story. Yeah, so shout out to all these countries that are pretty much everywhere in every country. China was also in Syria. They're everywhere, all over the planet. They're in Brazil because they're a big time food trade partner with Brazil. A lot of the stuff that Brazil produces goes to China. Same thing with us. A lot of our soybeans, when they put in the tariffs on Chinese stuff, a lot of American industries were hurt because so much of their business was solely dependent upon exporting food to China, like soybean. Like it's a really serious issue. Now, will France be able to actually get anything done? I'm all for the yellow vest protest, but what's the next step? What's the end goal? What's the end game? And nobody say anything about that movie, please. I've not seen it yet. Any spoilers will get immediately shot out the chat, but I'll move on to what I was saying. What's going to be the end result of the yellow vest situation? Is it going to be, so-called regime change? That I don't think it ain't going to be no coup in France. That ain't really going to, but are you going to try to get another president in there? What's going to be the end result? Are we going to try to change the policy? The policy is a bigger issue in France, UK, a lot of these Western European countries, Germany. They allow all kinds of garbage to come into the country, and then they're surprised why the crime rate skyrockets. London's crime rate is now the equivalent or better of New York City, even though they have a gun ban. A lot of knife crime going on, a lot of senseless stuff happening in the city because of all the foreign invaders and also the people that are there locally doing whatever they want to do that have come recently from other countries. That's a big time problem. So my Mandarin is on point. I don't know what I said. I could have said beef fried rice, man. Who knows? Illegal gold mines in Africa. Oh, that's everywhere. That's everywhere. Soy is actually found in a lot of food, and a lot of food that Americans eat that you may not know, candy bars, all that kind of stuff. Soy is everywhere. That's kind of just a normal thing. Let me see. Brian Anderson says the end game to anarchy is always stability, whether the government is positive or negative for the people. Well, that's kind of I kind of got in a tailspin because if it's anarchy, then there's no government. But maybe I think that would be the end result after you go through anarchy. You have a government that rises from those ashes of burning the previous government down to nothing, where you have anarchy. It's just like Mad Max, where there's total anarchy going on. And then maybe after a certain period of time, you have a government that comes from the ashes. I'm not really sure. Let me see. William Blower says, I said this on your video, Pope Francis supporting the Caravan, but Macron wants to rebuild Notre Dame as a postmodern abomination with minarets. What is a minaret? I'm not sure. But if he's trying to make it be some kind of, different thing other than what it was, just leave it alone then. Just make it be a memorial site. Just tear the whole thing down. Notre Dame, what it stood for me was how old Christianity is and how it remains to be here. That's what it stood for to me. It wasn't about trying to just have some kind of pretty building. There's plenty of pretty buildings all over the world. You can make a pretty building, but it's ancient. It was something that it was a symbol more than anything, more than a building, more than a cathedral, whatever it was. It was a symbol for me personally. Oh, like a mosque? Oh, no, we can't do that. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to make it into a mosque. If they rebuild Notre Dame and it has any kind of mosque feel to it, then you already know what time it is. You know that France has fallen at that point. If there's anything that reminds you of a mosque, that's a problem. And that will tell you that there's been, because it won't be by accident, because let's be clear, this is not going to be a cheap endeavor. You're talking about over $1 billion or something like that. Anytime you got that kind of money involved, there's going to be a whole lot of hands trying to get in the pot. And if you see anything that's overtly Islamic in nature, that means that either some big time Muslim hands got in the pot financially, or the French government felt compelled to do so to appease the Islamic citizens of their particular nation. That's just kind of how that goes. And speaking of Islam, have you guys seen the Sports Illustrated model wearing her burkini? Oh man, the burkini is hilarious. And you know what? I mean, I'm not even surprised at all. Nothing surprises me anymore. I'm never surprised. Like, I'm always just like, kind of like, yawn, typical, expected it. Nothing is really new. And if you've not seen that, check it out right here. This is from Sports Illustrated Swimsuit, verified account. It says Halima Aden makes history as the first model to wear a hijab and burkini for Sports Illustrated Swimsuit. Now, I mean, come on, guys. What do you see right here? What I see is a scuba suit without the headgear on and burqa. That's not even a burqa. That's just some Middle Eastern garb. That might even be a dashiki right there with a headscarf on. How is that a bikini at all? How can you call it a burqa or a bikini? It's ridiculous. And, you know, like I said in my video earlier, the whole point of a burqa is for women to dress and behave modestly. This is not modest behavior. I see your hip poking out. You know, you got your one little jank, you know, pointed towards the camera, and you got your makeup on your face and eyeliner. This right here would get you stoned in some countries in the Middle East. It's real talk. Shout out to my man that was in the military. I ain't gonna say his name because I don't want to put him out. But he was telling me how he would go overseas when he was in the Middle East. Some of the guys that was in his group would have some Sports Illustrated or some kind of not porn magazines, but magazines that had women that were kind of scantily clad. He would have them around, just laying around. And one of the local guys that's from one of those, like Afghanistan or something, he would take it and be kind of like giggling in the corner because they don't have that. And this is a grown man. This ain't no little kid. You're talking about a 30-something-year-old man taking the magazine and giggling because they don't have anything like this. This would not be allowed, period, in a place like Iraq. It just ain't going to happen. Iran, no way, no how. This is totally haram off the rip. So I don't even understand, like, what are we trying to do here? Are we just trying to do some new fashion stuff? Are we trying to be virtue signaling? That's what it appears to be, because this is not a realistic thing to be allowed in the Islamic world. And then I saw an article of her on, what was that, Vogue Arabia? Didn't know it existed, but I digress. On the cover of Vogue Arabia, it was talking about, women having freedom. How is a beekeeper outfit with the one slit right there? How is that freedom? That's total 1,000% oppression. You can't even go outside showing your eyes, your eyeballs. All you can see is just like, you know what I mean, like the letterbox, the mailbox in your door. That's absurd. And my thing is, at least let them get a different color, like, you know, like a hot pink. You know, every time I see it, it's always like a black. So it's 1,000 degrees in the summertime all the time. And you got on this beekeeper outfit. Let's be a little bit more liberal with how we allow them to dress. How about that? But don't tell me that the whole burkini is a normal thing, and it's not. It is what it is. But take a pause right quick. Oh, I have an announcement. This coming Friday, which would be, what's that, May the 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'll have Dr. Shiva Ayadurai back on ABL Live. Again, this Friday, I said September. I don't know what I said. This Friday, May 4th, 2019, I have Dr. Shiva Ayadurai back. He was on a few weeks ago, and we had a great conversation. His book is coming out, and I'll link to that somewhere. The book is out today, actually, and we're going to have him here doing the same thing. It'll be me and him doing a one-on-one. I already had a post on a page, on the YouTube page, on the community section, and I'll put another one on social media if you have questions you want to ask that were not answered last time. I have a lot that I still did not get to ask last time that I'll ask again. But the book is about climate change and all the false hysteria that's around it, among other things, the solar system. So we're going to get into some esoteric type talk this coming Friday, which would be May 4th. This Friday is May 4th. Oh, no, sorry. Not Friday. It's not Friday. I'm tripping. Not Friday. Saturday. Yeah. Okay. So y'all was saying May 3rd. No. Saturday, May 4th. I got the date right and the day wrong. Saturday, May 4th, 2019. The post is on my page already, so it has a correct date. Saturday, May 4th, 2019, not Friday. So y'all just make sure it'd be the regular ABL live time, but instead of just me talking and then doing calls, it'd be me interviewing Dr. Shiva. It'd be that way. So thank y'all for the correction. I'm just doing a lot, top of my head. I never have any kind of script, so I just kind of talk to you guys. Sometimes I get a little confused. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the calls. Let me just get this on my social media first right quick. And thank y'all for joining. If you're joining just now, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe right now. You could be a newcomer. You could just be a regular that's not subscribed. Go ahead and click that red button, make it gray, and click on the bell right beside the red button, make that gray as well. And put those little parentheses on the side of the bell just to make sure that you get notified whenever I go live or post a new video. That'd be fantastic for me if you did that. Let me just put this on my social media right quick. And there we go. All right. And all right, we good money. Hey, I got to tighten up, Ganjan 88. I got to get myself together. Hey, shout out to Mikhail. I see you in the chat, man. Shout out to Mikhail. Shout out to your father as well and your brother. Big up to everybody. All righty. Let me go ahead and get to my calls here. Yeah, I'm on nipping time. Ain't that right? Who said that? Feral Inferno. I'm on nipping time right now. But let me get to the calls. You guys know the drill. Let me turn off my desktop audio because I know Skype wants to make all kind of crazy noises when I'm trying to just run the show normally. Alrighty, let me see. Oh, I see Ivan in the chat. Okay. All right, let's get to my first call. Mike from Queens, what's happening?
Hey, Anthony, what's going on? How you doing?
Everything's great, man. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. I don't know if you read. I don't know if you saw the super chat I just sent you. Yellow vests in the U.S. to protest the left.
Oh well, hey, that could happen. That could definitely be a thing. Definitely down at D.C.
Yeah, that would be definitely a good idea. This protest on how they like to suppress, free speech on college campuses and, just in general across the country nowadays.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that aside, I think what we just witnessed today with Barr testifying in front of the Senate, I think what Trump needs to do is let's order up some investigations on some of all these senators that have been in the Senate for 20 plus years. Let's see how much corruption is in their backgrounds.
See, now they don't want to do that because, the whole thing here is they're just trying to attack Trump and anybody that has some type of view of Trump that's not necessarily totally 100% negative. So they don't want to have anybody go into their background because that goes against what they're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's a joke at this point because the whole Russia thing is broken down. And if a lot of people didn't hear today, about Peter Strzok, at least it was televised on all the other mainstream media outlets where, Lindsey Graham spoke about the text messages and all that nonsense that was going on between Page and Strzok and Rosenstein and all those people in the FBI and the Justice Department.
Yeah, now I'm glad you pointed it out because that's one thing that's kind of like been swept under the rug. Nobody's really talking about that, but it should be. I mean, because these are people that were actually involved with investigations into Hillary Clinton and Trump, and you see how biased they were. I mean, the language that was used it tells you the whole story right there. So I'm glad that he pointed it out to the people to tell people how twisted and deranged these individuals are.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsey Graham cursed cursed on live TV.
Yeah, he did. That was hilarious. But sometimes you got to get the point out there. And you know what? The thing about it is the fact that he cursed live on TV is going to get covered, and what he said will also be covered. So that gives that whole thing some more light, some more attention to let everybody know what's really going on, rather than what the media is trying to make it appear to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that aside, on a lighter note, I wanted to ask you: did you see the Avengers movie yet?
I've not seen it yet. It's been sold out for it felt like years now, but we're gonna try to go on Sunday to see it. But I've not seen it yet.
Oh, okay. I would suggest try going in the morning, because I know there's a lot of theaters that, due to the demand. I mean, the movie made $1 billion last weekend. There's a lot of theaters that are even showing the movie at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And I know here in New York City, there's certain theaters that are actually running it 24 hours.
Wow, that's serious. So yeah, that'd probably be the best bet. And I know it's long too; it's like 3 hours. So that'd probably be better because my time is kind of limited. So morning, before it gets too late in the day, that'd probably be the best thing.
And I tell you, I'm gonna go out on a limb on this one. That final battle scene, it's gonna. That to me,
no spoilers.
I'm not spoiling. I'm not saying nothing. But what I'm saying is this: that's going down as one of the best scenes in any movie of all time. Right up there, say the final confrontation between the two Terminators and Terminator 2. Great movies in The Godfather, like when Michael Corleone's speaking to Tom Hagen. He says, my father taught me many things. Keep your friends close, but your enemies close. Just it's amazing. Like like from Gone with the Wind. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. That's how great the scene was. I mean, it's movie history.
Well, hey, I'll definitely I'll definitely go check it out and see what's going on with it. I might do a review as well.
So, all right, bro. I'll talk to you soon and have a good night.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you to Mike from Queens for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to everybody in the building. Super chats, I got to read those right quick. Thank you to Greatness81 who says, Guaido lost the election. Can you imagine if Clinton staged a military coup after she lost in 2016? Is wrong in my opinion. Well, I mean, that's a good point. I think it's kind of a different circumstance here where people starving in the street. But one thing I want to know is, when did this whole situation start with the starvation and the just outright corruption that's happening? Has this been going on before Maduro? I mean, what's really happening? I don't really know, but that is a very good point. Will Redding says the soft squeeze of Charmin will be hard to resist. He says, hold on. The soft squeeze of Charmin will be hard to resist in Venezuela. That is a very good point. Because one thing that was missing in Venezuela, from what I know, is toilet paper. Basic supplies are missing. Thank you for the donation. Mike from Queens says, yellow vest in the U.S. to protest the left. That's what he was saying just now on the phone. Thank you to my man, Mike from Queens. Definitely appreciate him. Get to the next call. 702. Uh-oh. I was a little too close to the trigger. Let's get to the next one. 501, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Mr. Logan, this is Blake from Arkansas.
All righty, what's going on?
Oh, you and dinner. I wanted to call and see what you thought. I wanted to kind of challenge you and other conservatives that are on the line with you about a couple of things. To preface why I'm doing this, it seems like conservatives, the right in general, kind of have the left on defense, kind of like they're retreating socially, maybe even, probably politically as well. But the one thing that I don't see from the political right, or even from the Trump administration at this point, is actual policy to kind of fight against socialism, the creeping kind of influence of the left, within our schools and that kind of thing. And one thing that I wanted to talk about here now and see what your thoughts on it was kind of an in-between compromise on the abortion idea. Now, I'm against abortion personally. I would never advocate for it in my personal life, certainly not with one of my children. But the idea and the debate seems to be centered around women's rights all the time. Nobody ever really talks about the psychological impact of it. But that aside, what would you think about a compromise as allowing all abortion at any time during a woman's pregnancy, but taking away all gendered health programs, as far as like Planned Parenthood isn't gendered, as it were, to the United States public, but removing all subsidies, removing all the money to fund Planned Parenthood, and to basically allow the market to dictate what, when, where, and how much, kind of putting the price tag on the individual to make the choice. What do you think about that?
That's gonna be no deal for me. I can't rock with that because that's not a middle of the road compromise. A compromise.
In what way?
A compromise to me is even having Roe v. Wade still be what we go by. That's a compromise because if it were me, I would just ignore Roe v. Wade. I would say, okay, we're not going to look at that court decision. That's how we rule ourselves. Let's not have abortion be legal anymore. My compromise would be let's have abortion be up to the states. That's my compromise. Not just say allow it whenever, all over the country. No, that wouldn't be where I would put it. So I wouldn't do that because what's going to happen with that is abortion would still be going on. And if they could have if it was just more about private donations, a lot of these rich, sick people would just donate a lot of money and, bolster the abortion industry. They probably would lobby for money from private sources. That's not a compromise. You wouldn't really make a dent, in my humble opinion. Now, it'd be a symbolic one because you get rid of the federal money from it and the taxpayer cash doesn't go towards any kind of organization like Planned Parenthood. But abortion in general, no, because they still make money. That's one thing. It's not like a free service. You got to pay $300 or whatever it is for an abortion. So it's plenty of money to be made. All you're doing for that amount of money is destroying a human life. I mean, you're not really performing a complex procedure here.
I totally agree. And the one thing that I don't think people really talk about, which to me is the strongest point against abortion, is the psychological impact. Whether the person that gets the abortion is religious in any stripe or even, a Darwinist or an evolutionary scholar, it's still destroying human life, your life, half of your life, as well as someone else's. The idea of what I'm talking about is to refocus the cost, the emotional cost, the financial cost, the psychological cost, and refocusing the argument to those things. It seems as though on a national level, and even localized communities, whenever the topic comes up, it's all about rights. Okay, well, if you have the rights, and as far as the Supreme Court goes, or however it's ensconced in law, that an unborn child doesn't have rights as far as a human goes, there's nothing we can do about that until that's changed. I don't know where that would happen. I don't know how it would happen, but you're still left with the same argument that we have now, whereas they say, it's my body, it's my choice, it's my right. Okay, you want to deter the even desire for an abortion, or you want to allow them to make a responsible choice for their benefit, not to make the choice for an abortion to alleviate responsibility. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you remove federal monies and they started to investigate on what they're doing with the leftovers of abortion, as far as they're selling it to medical communities for research, lab work, all this kind of crap, the price would go up and people would refocus their mind to not just the moral implications after making a bad choice, but financial and things that affect them immediately rather than the long term. I mean, if you were to go to a woman and say, you really don't need this abortion, she's going to say, yeah, but I got bills and I don't have a job and he's not here and the father's gone and blah, 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 blah. They're not going to see the long-term psychological impact where 10 years down the road, they're going to be an alcoholic, they're going to be on antidepressants, they're going to have gone in and out of 30 different relationships. Maybe they had a couple more abortions because their self-image is lost.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. One thing about removing the federal money, if there's any kind of investigation into where the body parts are going, I mean, that's already known. That's not a secret at this point. I mean, it's not like, because I saw that Project Veritas video where James O'Keefe went in there and exposed it, but the government knows about that because the medical industry is tied into the government. Especially with Obamacare and stuff like that, they're tied into the government, so they know what's going on. It's not a secret. It just don't tell us, the American people. They don't have commercials talking about where the body parts of aborted babies go. They call that fetal tissue. They use it in research, so that's not really something that is not known by the federal government to the American people. That's a different story. But if you're trying to incentivize the federal government to look into a thing, that's not gonna make a difference because they already know. So now, I mean, people, you talking about psychological impact. A lot of these people that get abortions aren't going to think that deeply, even if you break it down to them.
Yeah.
It's like trying to teach, it's like trying to talk as if you're Elon Musk to a wino on the street. It's not really gonna click. So all you can really do to reduce that is just to have it be up to the states. And then each state can have their own particular thing, how they handle it. And really, that's kind of how it goes right now, because some states, it's difficult to access an abortion. It's not available just readily like how it is in other parts of the country. So that would be the best thing, to not have the abortion clinic right in front of your face. And also for these abortion clinics to not push abortion on you. Even if you go to a Planned Parenthood for the so-called medical care, which is not about medical care, it's about the abortion. And you got a young girl, 16 years old, she's sexually active. They're going to talk about get on birth control. If you have a baby, come in here, we'll take care of it. They're going to push you into abortion. But when those Planned Parenthoods, when these abortion mills are not there, the aggressive selling, if you will, won't be able to happen. So therefore, you'll have less abortions. It's real simple. After Roe v. Wade, you had an increase in abortions, if I'm not mistaken, because of all the abortion clinics that were available to people closely. Because a lot of times it's kind of a snap decision. It's kind of an impulse decision to do so.
Mm. Well, the idea, initially that's the easiest thing to do would be to remove the federal monies. And I think then if you offered abortion and, to draw an arbitrary line in the sand to say 4 weeks, 20 weeks, whatever, it's kind of ridiculous as far as the argument goes to me. I mean, a life is a life at conception.
That's right.
It doesn't really matter. But so I don't see any logical reason to say, you can do it at 7 weeks, but you can't do it at 18 weeks, or you can't do it at 36 weeks. I mean, they don't believe that is a life to begin with. So to me, that those kind of arguments are kind of out the window. What I'm getting at was, okay, if you remove federal monies and maybe you put restrictions on the medical industry and start to investigate that on Capitol Hill up in Congress and have hearings about these kinds of things, it will, educate the people as to what is actually going on and why these things are so detrimental, aside from the psychological impact and the emotional impact down the road to people.
Oh,
I mean,
no doubt.
My friend, real quick, my friend had a girlfriend and their relationship fell apart, and she came back to him and said that she was pregnant and she didn't want to keep it. So he went and paid for it, and they weren't even together. And he went through probably a year and a half of drinking a lot and depression, and I couldn't get it out of him. I said, Andre, what's wrong, man? What's wrong? And he finally told me the story. But he suffered.
Yeah. And
it wasn't even his body. I mean, He didn't even feel that thing and the changes. And I was like, nobody ever talks about that. I mean, you can't get it across, and it's not an argument to be had on a national level. It's a personal choice.
Absolutely.
But anyway, the cost thing to me would be initial deterrent. So you remove federal funding, and then all of a sudden Planned Parenthood has to either increase their costs.
I'm going to cut you off here, but
yeah,
I got to get
ahead.
to a few more calls.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to just say one last thing here. You talked about how a lot of folks don't really believe that it's it's actually a life. Well, that is true, but some people don't think that way. I'm going to go ahead and end the call here, but after I'm done, I'm going to play a clip of a guy in government saying something that you'd be kind of shocked by. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem. Take care.
All right. So what I was telling the caller is that, a lot of people don't believe that a baby is a baby when it's in the womb. They think it's just a clump of cells or whatever the case may be. Or they may tell you that. But look at this guy here. This guy is from, I think he's a Louisiana House rep, Democrat. And you see the quote right in front of you. It says, Alabama State Rep John Rogers, Democrat, on abortion. Some kids are unwanted, so you kill them now or you kill them later. You bring them into the world unwanted, unloved. You send them into the electric chair, so you kill them now or you kill them later. This isn't an abortion ban debate, and I'm going to play the video in case you don't believe me.
All I'm saying to you, it ought to be a woman's choice. I'm not about to be, as a male, tell a woman what to do with her body. She has the right to make that decision herself, through regular incest. Some kids are unwanted, so you kill them now, kill them later. You bring them in the world unwanted, unloved, then you send them to the electric chair. So you kill them now, kill them later. But the bottom line is that I think we should be making this decision.
So there you have it. Kill them now or kill them later. So this guy believes that he's actually a human being, but a lot of folks will try to hide and lie and basically say it was a clump of cells. No, they know it's a human being. They know what they're doing. That guy knows what he's doing. So people like that, you got to do it. So this guy should not be in office. And if it were a states' rights issue, he would be the person that says, let's have abortion. But if it were a guy like me in his particular seat, I would say no. And then that'd be how you go about it. Have it be on a state-to-state level. Sometimes on the federal level, you got these powerful states that come in and just try to block it. Hey, it's definitely evil, 100%. And this is during a debate to ban abortion. This is a black dude now. He's not even talking about how you got 34% of all abortions that are performed on black women, although we're only about 13% of the population. So 3 times the population are how many abortions are performed on us, almost. And there are more black babies that are aborted than born in many states in the country. New York City, I think it was in 2012, 8,200 more abortions and live births. So that guy right there is who you don't need to have in office. And people like that, when you say stuff like that, what I said to him, he's not really trying to hear it. So, but let me get to my next call. What was his language you were speaking? Louisiana, basically. The debate was in Montgomery, Louisiana. I'm not really sure where that is, but Louisiana, basically. Let's get to my next call. 702, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Mark.
All right, Mark, what's going on?
Nothing much. I have a super brief call this evening, but I know you had your last call about abortion. But, my thing is the Pope. I actually happen to be a crib Catholic. I wish I would have stuck with it and got into it more. But I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what is offered to Catholics anymore, especially when the Pope is behaving much like George Soros by investing in migrants. And, Jesus healed the sick, and the Pope seems to want to import the sick and spread disease, the exact opposites of what Jesus did.
That's right. 100% correct.
Yeah, and the thing about importing all the diseases and things like that is, and the disease spreading is that now I guess in some places they're saying if you can't prove that you have had a vaccine or a vaccination, you're not going to be able to go in certain parts of the city or in certain amusement parks or in certain institutions and things like that.
You said what now? Say that one more time.
The thing about having all these immigrants and epidemics and all these diseases is that now there's some local governments are saying if you can't prove that you have had a vaccination or a vaccine, and vaccines, there's controversy. If you can't prove that you've been vaccinated, you're not going to be allowed in certain public spaces anymore.
Well, I'm not really against that because, look, if people don't want to be vaccinated, that's on them. But then you could be endangering other people. So just stay in your particular area and don't be around others. Because especially when you're talking about people that have like small children, like babies that can't get vaccinated and then they become sick, that can be a problem. I think this wasn't necessarily an issue up until recently when you had the so-called migrants coming to the country. Before, if you weren't vaccinated, it wasn't really your problem because a lot of these diseases didn't exist too much anymore. Measles, mumps, it had been eradicated for many years, but now you got people coming in that have it. So if you're not vaccinated, you're going to be at risk for catching it, and then you are also at risk for spreading it to others. So now we have a kind of a 28 days later type thing going on.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Everybody says my body, my choice, but I never chose to be flooded, have a state flooded with illegals and get sick because of that. Also, when you have people like the Sackler family and the opioid and fentanyl crisis that have known to take tens of thousands of lives, it's pretty clear that Big Pharma cannot be trusted. So who would be in control of these vaccinations? Is it going to be a private company? Also, it's like there's controversy about vaccines. Some people think that they lower IQ or that they could inject nanotech in you and stuff like that. I understand that's tinfoil hat and something to chuckle at. It's only food for thought. I'm not debating you. I'm just saying that you know, like, this was never put to a vote to have your states and your areas flooded with people with diseases, and then all of a sudden you're having to get further vaccinations that, you know, maybe maybe there's trust issues when it's already proven that that a billionaire family, a Forbes billionaire family, has profited off of murdering people with big pharma.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and then switching topics to something way more serious. No, I'm just joking. I heard even the Arabs do not like the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. So it's like, who is the market for this? It's just flat out propaganda.
Exactly my point, because the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, anything that has women that are in suggestive poses or that are behaving immodestly, that's totally forbidden. That is haram. You can't do that. It doesn't matter if you got your burkini on, which ain't nothing but a scuba suit with no headgear and some kind of little dashiki on top of that with a head wrap. Although you have that on in the water, that's fine, but that's still behaving immodestly. You can't have that in the Islamic world. So no, the Arabs don't want it. The audience is Western people that want to virtue signal. Oh, this is nice. She's in the water with her little scuba suit on. That's nice. I feel like I am now more diverse and more woke because I enjoy this. That's the whole thing. And it's not for men or young boys, which were the target audience for a long time, because that don't do nothing for me right there. 15-year-old me is not impressed at all. I'm upset if I got that Sports Illustrated issue under my bed. I'm upset.
That's exactly right. You know, some people were talking about that. It's like, there goes the audience that used to buy the SI Sports Illustrated issue, because, like, now what are they going to look at? You might as well, you know, get the REI issue and look at tents. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, yeah, look at that hot backpack right there. You know?
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah, you know, that's like, it's like who needs a Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue with featuring burkinis if you can just go to Bass Pro Shops and pick out their catalog.
Exactly right. I mean, 100%. Like, it's no luster. It's nothing. It's like you're not even really seeing anything. It's no point, no purpose. You might as well go get a regular Sears catalog and don't even go all the way to the back. Just stay in the front with the regular, shirts and T-shirts and whatnot. Just stay right there.
Right. Exactly. It's like ogling at retail, but, you know, maybe lusting is bad for us. I wouldn't really know, but it is a Western or whatever. But I just think the SI Sports Illustrated issue, the Sears catalog, all the things that were in antiquity kind of stuff that were perused by the American public. I mean, like, it's almost like the entire audience is no longer even catered to. So there goes that. I mean, I don't think I'll ever really look at Sports Illustrated again. I haven't liked them in quite some time. And and I don't have very much else, but, you know, the Jussie Smollett, you know, anytime there's a celebrity that's involved in a weird, bizarre news story, I tend to think that there's some kind of ulterior motive, and I can never really pin it down what the motive is. But whether it's Jussie Smollett or Lori Loughlin, when actors are involved in news, I almost think it's like a crisis actor psyop situation. For whatever reason, they're programming the public. I just don't know why, but I don't perceive that stuff as real.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Oh no, that's it. That's all. I mean, it's just throwing that out there, and then I only have one more thing.
Yeah, Jesse, the whole thing. I mean, it's just weird. He was trying to become like this martyr. He was trying to become like Barack Obama, but not a president, just trying to get that much attention on the political level for being a young black mixed male, black and white. Just say he wants to be Obama. He knows Obama. He knows Michelle. He wants to be him. But his plan was foiled, and now he's pretty much just floundering, trying to save his career. That's pretty much the end of that.
Yeah, and I see one person in the chat that said they're just trying to sell papers. That could be a thing also, you know, that might have just been let's just throw Jesse out there, have him perform this role, and see just how much of the okie doke the public will put up with. Like, where's the gauge? Like, where are we? Will they just accept anything now? Will they just allow us to, make stuff up and not question it? You know, sometimes I wonder if they're, beta testing their psyops, like beta testing, like, oh, is this going to work? Can we lie this much now? Like, what level of lying can we get away with? You know?
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I kind of think that with the Lori Loughlin thing too. It's like if they're gonna bribe that much money to get someone in there, shoot, I mean, more power to them. I mean, they actually care about their kids' lives. That's actually kind of rare, and they're paying out of pocket. It's not like they're shortchanging or ripping anybody off. They're not doing that. And I almost think it's like to get the Asian lawsuits off the headlines. That would be one thing. Also, I almost think it's kind of like they're trying to pimp the value of these institutions that are clearly an extortionist ripoff. That they're like, oh, look at how much the links that they'll go to get somebody to go to USC in South Central LA at the end of Crenshaw Boulevard. Wow, can't wait to go there and get stabbed.
Yeah, I mean, you got a point. And the thing about these colleges with the admissions. It's just kind of a weird thing with the law because Dr. Dre gave USC $70 million and his daughter got admitted into there. And then it was funny because he was on Instagram talking about, my daughter got there without cheating. It's like, well, you did pay $70 million to the school, so your daughter's going to get into the school. That's how old money does. I mean, these people just didn't pay enough. I think that's really what the main thing is. And then they got caught up for it. But they have to know that going into it. Matter of fact, I think they did an episode, one of them did an episode at least, about this exact same thing. So they understand what the law is. They just didn't follow it. If they would have paid more money, then there wouldn't have been no problem. But since they paid less money, then that was the legal issue.
And you know what's the funniest thing about the Dr. Dre situation is that whether it's Dr. Dre or P. Diddy or Oprah or, Denzel Washington or any number of white folks that are celebrities that did not graduate, maybe they didn't even graduate high school, and they'll get honorary degrees from these schools. How is that not disrespecting your alma mater? And then they'll be commencement speakers. And you know what the funniest thing about that is who they should be having as a commencement speaker are people like the guy that you're going to have, Dr. Shiva. If I was a student, I want to hear from an inventor, an innovator, and a guy with real bona fides who really earned something and really did something. I don't want some guy that's going to be like pointing at a green screen and going, no, the dinosaur's coming to get me. And that's like your life, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, and then very last thing is that in your monologue you talked about the Chinese and the Belt and Road and the Chinese being everywhere and the Chinese this and the Chinese that. I happened to hear on this one esoteric show that some Chinese are extremely abusive, by the way, to their own families. But last thing, by the way, healthcare matters. Some Chinese actually have books written by their own hand from members of their own families that go back 21 generations.
Wow.
That would be, instead of like Crazy Rich Asians or the Joy Luck Club, that would actually make a pretty good movie. To think that your own family, your grandfathers and your grandparents and their great ones, like going back to the time of Christ, written in their own hand, like the little lessons they learned, little recipes, little things that they would like future generations of their people to know. Like, that's nuts, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty wild. It is.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, sir. The chat's getting all fed up. I want to troll harder just to make them cry, but I'm going to let you go, okay?
All right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Thank you to Mark for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to everybody in the chat. The number to call is 434-658-1220. The number is always right here in the ticker below. And it's also always in the description box below the video as well. If you want to get in through Skype, there's an email in the description box. Click on the show more right beneath me. And right in the section, there is an email you can add on Skype. Let me get to my next call. Someone tell you on the line I'm speaking to. Turn speakers on the background for me, please.
Hey, Bill. This is Rich from Virginia Beach. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, there's something in the water. I was here. I actually drive Uber, and I drove through it. And, there was no bad incidents that happened for the first time that I can remember. So that actually worked out good.
Now, were you at the were you down the beach last year during the college beach weekend, like Ubering?
Yeah. There was shootings last year. And almost every year there's either shootings or throw-in chairs through windows, some kind of foul play. But this year it was a pretty positive atmosphere. As I was talking to people, everybody was happy and excited. And, the hotels were charging $400 and $500 a night, and they were getting it, and they were all booked. And everybody was happy. They had somewhere between 50 and 100 state troopers helping the city police out. There's plenty of cops. They were controlling the traffic. And so it was a very safe event, and everybody was happy with what Pharrell did was very good for the community here. He's really trying to help Virginia Beach out.
Yeah, that's very good to hear that, because I've been hearing about College Beach Weekend for a while. I know the guys that's behind that actually, and they always talk about how to make it safer, how to make it better, how to stop all the crazy stuff. And then Pharrell got wind of it, and he was like, "Okay, we're gonna do a real festival and bring some big acts down there and have a different kind of environment, like more of a you're gonna have a captive audience that's gonna be entertained with the music rather than trying to go to the parties and get drunk and all of that, and have that be all that they do." So that was good. Then they got the basketball court down there, so I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
And I was trying to go to Virginia actually this weekend because I had family that was down there. I wound up not being able to make it, but I was looking at hotels in Chesapeake, and they were sold out. I'm talking about like Greenbrier, all the way up there.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at staying across the water, like Hampton, because all the hotels booked up. It was crazy.
Yeah, people were staying at hotels in Norfolk and Chesapeake to go to the something in the water because everything was sold out.
Yeah.
All three cities pretty much was sold out.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all, guys. I just want to let you know what was going on with the something in the water there. So everything was real positive.
Well,
and Pharrell, he could run for mayor and win like that because everybody loves Pharrell now because of what he did.
Like I was seeing in the pictures when he was at Princess Anne. Missy went back to Wilson. And I grew up in Portsmouth, so I know about Missy. I remember when she came out, it was a big thing for us in Portsmouth to have her come out. I know Timbaland was there. I don't know if he performed. They had Teddy. And I've been around all these guys. I've been in Timbaland's studio. I've been in Teddy's studio. So I know a lot of these people that are around them. I done met Malice, Pusha, all these people. So it was good to see all of them out there and having a positive thing, because that's been a problem for many years now, was all the shootings that were happening on this weekend, all the violence, but none of that was going on. So they're talking about doing it again next year. Hopefully that does happen. Hopefully it's an annual thing on this particular
Well,
weekend.
they got a 3-year contract, so they'll be doing it for the next 2 more years here.
Beautiful. Perfect.
And, there was no riffraff whatsoever. Everybody was positive. Everybody was happy. It was kind of strange, kind of weird, but it was good.
But you know what? One thing I would say is that since there were so many people coming to the actual place and the hotels were going for like $400, the riffraff couldn't actually get access to it because they don't have $400. Like, these guys are coming from, Texas and Florida, all kind of places, and they're staying in hotels, paying like $100 a night, staying 4 deep. But if you got to pay $400 for a hotel in Norfolk, and to people that are in the chat, you're talking about like a half hour to 45 minutes away from the beach. Like, it's not close. So you got to drive and then go through traffic. They don't have the money or the resources to be able to do that. So as long as you keep bringing these big time acts, you're not going to have the riffraff. They can't even really afford to be in that particular space.
Yeah, so hopefully next year maybe you can make it down, ABL.
I'll definitely be there, man, for sure.
I'll give you a free ride from the airport.
All right, now.
I know.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. And if you guys don't know what I was talking about, there was a festival in Virginia Beach this past weekend called Something in the Water. Music festival. You had Pharrell. There were a lot of people. Jay-Z, Snoop. A lot of other Dave Matthews Band was going to perform, but they had bad weather the day before, so he wasn't able to actually perform. Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters was there. Pharrell's a big-time guy in the music industry, so you have so many friends. It was really a big thing. Diplo was there, and it was really big for the state, for that particular part. We never had a festival that big in Virginia Beach ever that I can remember. The closest thing was a Hard Knock Life tour in the early 2000s, late 90s that I went to when I was in high school. And I'm 34, be 35 this year, so that was a pretty big thing. And there's always some kind of shootings or whatnot at the beach, so I'm glad that it wasn't this time. But let me get to my next call. There was somebody on the line I'm speaking to.
Joshua.
All right, Joshua, what's going on?
Nothing much as of lately. I want to talk about the the Barr testimony. I saw some clips of it.
Okay, so what about the Barr testimony?
That, as again, like the Miller Report is a whole big nothing burger.
Yeah, that's pretty much a whole big nothing burger. Yes.
They're just trying to character assassinate Barr. That's all. That's what they're trying to do now. Is that they fell with the Mueller report, and now they're trying to go to Barr because they have nothing against Trump now. Like, he didn't collude with Russia, as we all know, and he didn't do this other so-called collusion stuff. It's like what they're going to do in 2020 is that they're going to play dirty. Like, we need to take 2020 very seriously. Like, I know all these candidates, like almost all of them except two, are just a bunch of clowns that want to ban the Electoral College, want more illegal immigration, high taxes, etc. And what's your thoughts on it?
On what specifically? About how BS the whole witch hunt around the Mueller report is and William Barr?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the Democrats are trying to do everything they can to get Trump out of office or to have him become less relevant, less important in the society. So they're going to take every trick in the world and try to do it. They're trying to character assassinate William Barr, Bob Mueller, anybody that is closely associated or not closely associated to Trump. Like, it could be any kind of way, any kind of affiliation they want to try to get at whoever that is, to try to make them just become less qualified to speak, if that makes any sense. Right. So trying to just kill their characters so then people won't listen to them.
Exactly. Like, they have nothing against Trump. Like, they're trying to impeach the guy, basically. And speaking of that, I saw a tweet on Twitter, a black clueless liberal that says they basically trying to they said on Twitter that the Democrats find a smoking gun on Trump. They found a smoking gun on Trump. They need to impeach him. Like, what smoking gun? Why do you want to impeach him? Because Orange Man bad? Like, he's doing great for the country. Like, he has a high economy, low unemployment, and etc. And the only thing I nip on him about is like but what he's trying to do right now, he needs to be tough on immigration. And this is why we need to hire Chris Kobach as the new DHS secretary, because Christian Nielsen was doing nothing at all, blaming Congress, which is the majority of the blame. But what she done? Nothing.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing that can't really be going on too much anymore is the inaction in the government. If you're going to be working the job, you got to do your job. You can't just be allowing stuff to happen, not taking any kind of action that you can take. Work your job. Just like Jeff Sessions. I liked Jeff Sessions to a certain extent, but he wasn't actually working. He wasn't actually doing his job. So if you're going to be here, if you're going to be working, you need to do your job. It's really simple.
Right. Absolutely. And two random things I want to talk about is, do you see the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer?
I did see it, yes.
And Sonic's design?
I mean, it's just kind of weird to see him talking with teeth like a human being. It was just really weird. The teeth, I mean, you got my teeth in your mouth, Sonic, and I didn't know that hedgehogs had human being teeth. It was just really weird to see that. I mean, the movie might be okay. I'm not really a fan of Jim Carrey, but I think Jim Carrey's a talented actor, so it'd be good to see him play his particular character. But I'm not sure I'm gonna go see that in the theater. If it comes on Netflix, I might catch it if it has positive reviews, but I don't know. It just seemed really weird to look at that with human teeth.
Right. And one more thing, did you see the video that I sent to you last Saturday?
I'm not sure. I get a lot of stuff sent to me. What was it?
The video that I sent you about the Jonathan Paula thing.
About who?
Jonathan Paula that you like the tweet about.
I can't really remember. What was the video about?
It was about after he won the election.
Nah, I gotta check it out. I've not seen that.
All right.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Definitely appreciate you too.
All right, now take care.
Take care.
All right, thank you to Joshua. Thank you to Joshua for the call. Most certainly appreciate it. Shout out to everybody in the building. Please give the video a thumbs up if you like what you're hearing. And please share the video as well. If you are a first-time subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That does me a fantastic service. I really, really appreciate you. And shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you guys as well. If you want to continue the conversation after the stream, join us on Discord. A link for that is in the box below. But let me get to my next call here. 214, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, man, what's going on? This is Tariq, man.
All right, Tariq, what's happening?
Nothing much, man. This is one of those ones where I'm kind of disappointed in the Trump administration, and I do back Trump up. Like, my criticism of Trump is never emotional. It's never he's a racist, sexist, homophobe. But on this Venezuelan thing, the reason why I'm disappointed because I'm reading articles that the United States is considering military action in Venezuela. And I'm just like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go to the common American and just ask, to what interests or benefits should the United States go into Venezuela militarily? I mean, it just seems like we can never have a policy of just minding our own business and letting people work out their own problems. John Bolton going on TV talking about Nicolas Maduro doesn't represent us. Well, so what? That's not your decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could say Obama didn't represent people well. That doesn't mean that Russia and China, therefore, militarily intervenes on some opposition party. And the thing is, we have a very insecure southern border thanks to the Democrats. The Democrats are never going to do anything. As long as we don't have a supermajority in the House and the Senate, I don't think anything's happening with that southern border because these Democrats don't care. They just care about votes. They don't care if they change the fabric and the culture of this country, but that's a different story. What I fear is that any intervention in Venezuela, looking at United States track record, may create some type of terrorist group that we may have to deal with forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I look at what happened in Iraq. We're still in Iraq. We're still in Afghanistan. We're still in Syria. And with South America, South America has some of the highest rated, crime homicides in the world. And that's because there's a booming drug empire. And I feel like I don't want to create some terrorist state that can easily come into this country because we have some retarded border that the Democrats will not do anything about. In fact, if something happens and it gets escalated, I know the Democrats are going to, oh, well, we got to help these people. You got to let them in. I can already see that crap coming, and there's some nonsense happening in this country. I feel like we don't know what will happen if the United States intervenes military, but looking at the track record, it's not anything good. And I think with Donald Trump, I think we should be loud and tell him, like Tucker Carlson said, which he seems like he's the only guy in the media talking like this. We don't need to intervene in Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if Russia and China's there. I don't think we need to intervene in there because I don't think it's going to be a 1 or 2 day thing. I think we're going to be in there forever. And also, I just don't want any crossing paths with Russia, especially, man. I know Russia has some troops there. I don't want any Russian to accidentally die or any American that die. It doesn't matter if one of them die and an American killed them or Russian killed them. We are locked in a nuclear war. So I just feel like Trump needs to really not listen to his war hawks. I think he needs to fire John Bolton. John Bolton, there's not a war that John Bolton wouldn't go into. You know, if Trump said, hey, John, you think we should nuke Moscow? John Bolton will be all for it. I think Trump needs to get rid of these people, you know, and stick with this policy where he was like, we're not going to police the world. We are going to mind our business. We're going to put American first. If Trump did that, he'll be great. But if he invades Venezuela military in any way, I don't know how he's going to win these presidential debates. And I think that can be used against him, you know, as far as him not keeping his promise, man. But that is my significant concern with, you know, this administration in Venezuela and, you know, Trump calling out Russia and then calling out Cuba. I don't like that at all, man. And just one more thing, with the Cuban situation, I think, didn't Trump reverse some travel ban or something with Cuba?
No, I didn't hear anything about that.
Okay, I thought I heard something about that.
I think somebody canceled their plans to go to Cuba because of the Trump, the travel situation. I think it was a celebrity that canceled their travel plans because of what Trump did.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't want these Democrats to be stronger on this issue. Like, I don't know if you remember watching the debates with Trump and Hillary. Trump destroyed Hillary Clinton on the whole Middle East situation. He was like, you guys voted to go to war in Iraq, and now look what happened. It's a mess. Look at the mess y'all created in Libya. Look at the mess y'all created in Syria. He destroyed Hillary on that. You know what I'm saying? She really had no answer. Hillary was representing the status quo. And, you know, if we think about Bernie progressives, because a lot of Bernie supporters defected to Donald Trump, a lot of them are anti-war. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Trump will lose that if he starts any type of war, because then this will be his war. So far, Trump has no wars, which is great. He may not be pulled out of countries quick enough, but he has no wars underneath his name. He should not create any type of long-term United States conflict in the southern border. Our troops are stretched thin. I think it weakens this country. I think it weakens us economically, and we don't need our troops all over the world fighting many different wars. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say, man.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, peace. Great call from my man Tariq. Shout out to Tariq for the call. And you see what I said I have on the screen before you. That's probably what he was referring to. It says Donald Trump cancels deal allowing Major League Baseball teams to sign Cuban players. And that was because of the whole Cuba thing. Like, MLB was trying to be too cozy with Cuba. Trump's like, nah, we're not going to have that. So that's what that was. But shout out to Tariq for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to everybody in the chat calling in. If you're trying to get in, please hang tight. I'm going to try to get everybody on as soon as I can. All right. 314, you're on the line. What's speaker to?
Anthony, this is Udoka, 314 St. Louis. Just make sure everybody knows where I'm from.
All right, Udoka, what's going on?
I just have a question. I value your opinion.
You kind of speaking a little bit low there, man. Speak up a little bit for me.
Okay, can you hear me now? A little bit more.
Perfect.
Okay, I was saying, I value your opinion. There's a topic that just came up recently with Ho's freestyle with the topic of gentrification, and I was wondering how you felt about gentrification and the talks that's been coming about it, and even me, even calling in, I had to kind of look up the definition of it, because it gets lost in the talk, and it's just for context, it's the process of renovating and improving a house or district so that it conforms to middle-class taste. But I'm sure you've seen the talk about gentrification, right?
Yes, I have seen it.
I was just wondering, what do you think about that?
Okay, now before I get into what I got to say, when you hear a definition to improve an existing place to middle-class standards, that does sound good, right?
Yeah, to me, yes, absolutely.
I mean, and the reality is that gentrification should be a good thing. But here's the whole thing. All right, you got a lot of black folks live in these areas. Like, here's a prime example, Washington, D.C. That's going on right now in Washington, D.C. Gentrification is happening at a crazy rate. Just, can't keep up with it, basically.
Right.
People are living in the prime real estate, Washington, D.C., not far from Capitol Hill, not far from all these government jobs, not far from all these lobbyists and analysts and whatnot, right there in the city. And they're not doing anything with the real estate. A lot of stuff on Georgia Ave, right by Howard University, is boarded up. And when white people come in to these black neighborhoods that are underperforming, and it's not just whites. That's kind of a misconception because
that is a misconception. Actually,
people from all over the world come in there. There's a lot of Africans in D.C. that come in and build it back up. A lot of Asians from China, Japan, India, Europeans, South Americans. They all come to D.C. with money and they build the place up. The problem is that the existing black American population is forced out because they can't afford the higher rent. And if they own their place, they can't afford their new taxes. That's why it's spoken about in a negative way. You go to New York, it's the same thing happening. A lot of these project buildings are being torn down, or if they're not being torn down, they're converted into more upscale apartments, and then the rent goes sky high. So somebody, grandma been living there for a long time, they got to get out. But the problem is that the people that have been living there who are now forced out due to the higher expenses have had it for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years and did nothing with it. It's their fault. And beyond that, it's kind of a double-edged sword because these people in these communities always say, we want more investment. We want more companies to come here. We want more money coming to the area. They always say that. But then when the money comes, when the investment comes, when the jobs come, they're not ready for it because they want to still continue to live as if they are still poor. You can't do that. You got to have more skills, which would have allowed them to build their community up rather than just sitting there in poverty. So that's the issue. People aren't ready for the money and investment to come to their place, which is why they complain when it does come, even though they actually ask for it all the time.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. And it's unfortunate. And also, I mean, I guess people's gripe, because I'm just trying to understand it, and like I don't personally have an opinion besides the facts. I mean, those are the facts of the matter. It's money, not race. But people are being, I guess, what they say, displaced, right? They're having to move out because they can't afford the rent or, you know, the ability to live in these new renovated places.
Yeah.
And I guess their issue is, you know, where do you go? Like you see it in Oakland as well, Atlanta, everywhere, pretty much.
Well, I mean,
I guess.
Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to understand, you know, the size. You know what I mean? Like, what is the issue with being displaced?
Well, I'm not sure. Like, what do you mean? What's the issue with it? As far as why are they being displaced?
No. Maybe I'm just speaking out loud. People have an issue with being displaced from in the area that they've been in for a lot of years. So, I'm trying to understand. I'm just trying to understand their side of things.
Well,
it seems clear cut to me.
Because what they want to do is continue to live where they've been living for a long time, without having any kind of adjustments or any kind of change. So people that don't have any money, they're paying a small amount of money in rent, and then the rents increase. Or if they own their home, their property taxes go through the roof and they can't afford the property taxes anymore. Now they're upset. Now they got to try to find a new place to live. And then sometimes, you know, they may have owned the place, like in South Carolina, like Hilton Head, all these golf courses and whatnot in the coast with the Geechee Islands. You know, a lot of black folks been there since almost like before slavery. They've been there for a long time. They are forced to leave and they don't want to leave. That's part of that's the issue. But, you know, they want to blame external forces, but in reality is their fault. They have to kind of like see what's happening around them. If they are just in the place, not working, not contributing any kind of money, really, outside of a small amount, they have to understand that at a certain point, that's going to change. You got to be ready to be able to change with it. They're not ready to change. And since they're not ready, then they have to move or go somewhere that they don't want to go. And now they have a problem.
Yeah. It's interesting. I just wanted to hear your opinion on that. Always appreciate you taking my call.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right now.
All right. So shout out to you, Doka, for the call. Yeah, you know the thing. Shout out to Inner Beauty TV, Nicole, Michelle. Shout out to Nicole. But yeah, I mean, gentrification should be a good thing, but people aren't ready for that investment to come to their place. They don't have the skills. They don't have the education. They don't have anything that would help them make that transition. So then when it does come, they're not ready. So when people say, oh, you want more investment into the community, do you want it? Because with that investment comes responsibility. It comes something you got to do on your end. It can't just be a one-way street. You can't just say, we want more money, but then you don't want to do anything to get that money or to make the money stick into your community. But let me get to my next call. 201, you're on the line. I'm speaking to. Pardon me, 210.
Brandon from San Antonio.
All right, Brandon, what's going on?
Chilling, man. How you doing?
Everything's great, man. Can't complain.
All right. So I kind of wanted to piggyback on what your last caller was talking about. I actually had an experience with reverse gentrification.
Okay, so what is that? Explain what that is.
Okay, so I was living in, I would say a multicultural neighborhood somewhat, but they were moving in a lot of ex-cons into the area because they opened up a new parole office. So what they did was they lowered the rent on the houses, and everybody that owned houses ended up having to double their property taxes just to break even for the area.
Wow, that's crazy. That's wait, okay. What part of the you said San Antonio?
This was in San Antonio, yes.
Wow, that is unreal.
I ended up and a lot of people that have been living in these houses for 30, 40 years. My parents passed away, so I took over the house, and the house was paid for. I ended up having to sell my house because they doubled the property taxes.
Wow. Unreal.
So, yeah. And so what they would do, like when it comes with the ex-cons, is that they built the parole office, and they're saying, okay, we got one here, so you don't have an excuse not to show up because you don't have to even take the bus. You can walk there in 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, I'm all for, like bringing in people and letting them, have a better place to live and all that stuff. But they were actually taking an area that was decent, and then they're bringing in more crime, bringing in all this stuff, and everybody that's been there forever is actually getting forced out.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I've been there myself, not in that particular situation exactly, as far as like owning a home, then you forced to sell, and then the crime happening. But I was in this apartment complex when I was like about to go to high school. And what they did was they tore down a housing project that was in the city. And when they tore the project down, they give them vouchers to go pretty much wherever they wanted in the general area in different cities too. So they came to our housing, our apartment complex. It was not a project. It was just some apartments. It was income controlled, but it wasn't a bad neighborhood really. So when they came, it just transformed overnight. You got dope fiends running around like roaches all over the place. You got screaming, hollering, shooting. It was a mess. So people.
Oh yeah,
so people had to leave. Like they were forced to leave because of all the crime.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happened to the area that I was living in. I mean, everybody's just like, you can't go one night without hearing pop, 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 and they're like,
yeah.
Like, okay, waiting to hear that on the news, but you don't hear it because nobody cares.
Yeah, you don't hear that on the news. Like, I remember being in certain neighborhoods, you hear shooting every night, but it will only be occasionally would you see anything on the news about a shooting. Very, very rarely would you see it. Yeah.
But yeah, I had to bring that up because, it goes both ways. So, that's just kind of the point I was trying to make. Like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't type of thing. Catch-22.
Very good point, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. You have a good one.
All right. Same to you.
All right. Bye.
And that's a great call there. And yeah, I definitely experienced that whole when your neighborhood goes down, when the crime just spikes out of control. I've definitely experienced that before. And it's really not a fun thing to have happen to you, but it is what it is. 269, you're on the line. What's speaking to?
Hello, it's Kerplunk. How are you today?
Everything is good, man. About yourself?
I'll try to keep my finger on this, hot on this mute button when you talk. I found out what my problem is here. I got a little bit of feedback coming in from the microphone, but I'll try to keep it short. Hey, I was cruising around the internet today and on the interwebs, and especially YouTube's, and I run across this article, and it was. Have you ever heard of the feminist Mein Kampf?
No, but that sounds ridiculous.
It is just as ridiculous as it sounds. Somebody went and took a couple of college professors. Apparently, they went and took the book Mein Kampf and grabbed chapter 2 out of it and replaced all the words where it said workers' union, and they replaced it with feminism. And all the feminists ate it up. They were tricked, you know. They ran across 7 publications, you know, and they're all the feminists across the country were agreeing with it. So I found that particularly funny.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it does. It happened. So did you see that thing I sent you in Skype yesterday about the little 11-year-old kid?
No, I didn't. Oh, Kerplunk, I don't know what happened to Kerplunk, but you got to get your Obama phone tightened up, boss. The call dropped, so I don't know what happened. So shout out to him, and shout out to everybody on the line right now. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. I will not bite you. Let's get to the next call. 301, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's JB. What's up, bro?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Nothing much. Another day, and I was downloading this Mortal Kombat 11 download, waiting for the download. So let me call my brother ABL. But yeah, man. You see Eric Dyson talking about trying to race bait his grandson now, talking about he got called the N-word and mother of a white kid. I'm like, these are little kids. They say a lot of mean stuff to each other. You know what I'm saying? So he called it Channel 5 News, he was on Channel 5 and everything.
Hold on. What happened now? What happened? You said Eric Holder's grandson?
No, I said Eric Mark, what's his name? Dyson, the little...
Oh, Michael Eric Dyson.
Yeah, his grandson got called the N-word and a mother, you know, so mother, I don't want to say it. But you know, you get where I'm going though, right?
Yeah, I mean, so that was on the news because he got called a bad name, really?
Yeah, he got called a bad name. They knew he was gonna kill him. He was gonna gun and shoot him. I said, kids, they're like 7, 8 years old. They say mean stuff to each other. You just address it. You don't call a news conference for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
he is such a race baiter.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a shame that you got to use your own grandchild to do it. I mean, I could understand if it was him and it was on TV or something like that and some politician did it, but come on, you're talking about kids. Kids are kids. They're going to say things that don't make any sense because they're kids.
Exactly. So he basically, like I said, that kid needs to be reprimanded and this is that. I'm looking at him like, dude, he's like 7, 8 years old. You sit him down, talk to the parents. I don't think the kid's racist. I just think he just said he overheard it. He called him. And then the kid gets on the news. And it sounded so scripted. If you get a chance, look it up. It sounded so scripted. ABL, if you would have seen this, you'd have been like, really, dude? You really have a conference for all this stuff? And that's how I feel about a lot of things. Like my son got called the N-word at school. You know what we did was we said out with the parents. Parents said sorry. White kid parents said sorry. I said, okay, cool. I'm not going to say the kid's right because it's so much rap music use that stuff. People around me use that stuff. Same thing I'm trying to get about. I said, look, that's how life is. Kids pick up what they see on TV, what their parents listen on music. So it's based on the parents kind of listen to and using that kind of language. I can't say 8-year-old being racist. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then he's like, and then I went to the school. It's school in D.C., little Charlotte public school. He's like going on and on and on about this. I'm like, and he said his big brother got assaulted in school earlier when he was around his age too. And I'm like, you're creating kids to be victims, your grandkids to be victims. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's too much. And then we got these people going around saying the Mueller report was fake, and they're saying, yeah, we really did do some stuff. And I'm like, just give up. It's over. You know what I'm saying? It's over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but people just can't. But people just can't accept. These liberals can't accept that. Hey, there's nothing on the man. He's actually an honest person. You're shocked, huh? Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
And it just sickens me. We gotta go through all this stuff in our lifetime. But a person's actually trying to do the right thing about people. And that's all it is. And everybody keeps saying, well, Hillary was so much better. I'm like, bro, that's 2016. We're talking about now. He's not my president. I say, okay, you say that now. Okay, whatever. Well, anyways, ABL, that's all I called about. But you get a chance, check that video out. And, you need to get Days Gone. It's actually pretty good. I just got through playing a couple rounds of it.
Yeah, I actually rented it on Redbox, and I'm playing it. It's okay. I gotta play a little bit more. It's all right though. It's not bad. It's
all right. It kind of reminds. It's like a Resident Evil, but yet more hipper and cooler. It's like Walking Dead meets Resident Evil. Wouldn't you agree?
Have you played Last of Us?
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of that too.
Last of Us, they need to come with a part 2. I love Last of Us. The plot was good. Everything was good in that daggone movie. On that series, don't you think so?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. All right, ABL. Keep the faith, and hey, you get through that time for the summer's over. I guarantee you will.
All right, no doubt. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, brother. Peace.
All right, shout out to JB for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to the super chats right quick. Thank you to Nathan Shield, who says Kevin Corner is on now. I think he said it's over. So shout out to Kevin's Corner. He also says move to small towns. Life is a lot easier. 100%. And I've not gotten that call from that individual. Hopefully I don't. But let's get to the next call. Let's see. Let's go. 510, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL? This is Brother Throat Puncher of the Angry Marines representing God Emperor Trump.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Nothing much. Surviving in the belly of the beast of California and hearing your conversation about the craziness of the Islamic thing going around, attacking folks. China being in every country, and they really are trying to take over the entire world and trying to make it like, let's make it all Chinese and that sort of thing. And hearing from your last callers, the Chinese are notorious for treating their enemies like crap. And I can say this personally too.
Oh, and no question.
I'm part Chinese.
Okay.
I'm part Chinese and I'm part black. And they didn't like that.
Right.
My own family didn't like that. And they actually disowned my ass. Oh, sorry. They actually disowned me.
Yeah, I heard about that. I know a guy that's in China right now is a black guy, and he is married to a Chinese woman, and his daughter that they had together cannot go to the school in China because she's not ethnically Chinese fully.
Exactly. And I'd say, and China wants to make everything Chinese. So I'm like thinking, if they treat everybody else like this, what do they have plans for the rest of the world? How are they going to treat everyone else?
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. That's the point. It's like, okay, go to China and see how they treat people that are actually in the country. So if they treat them that way, then how can somebody on the outside be treated any better? It doesn't make much sense.
Exactly. And here's the thing I'm going to say, too. So right now, also with China, and there's also the Muslim thing going on, like they see Islam as a mental illness right now. And they're like literally torturing them and beating the crap out of each other. And I'm like thinking, well, since Islam is going around attacking everyone, why don't we let these extremists and the Chinese go at it? And when both sides are weakened, or one down and the other one's weakened, we can swoop in and take them out, and neutralize them as a threat.
That's right.
You know?
Absolutely.
That way, so they don't have, because, and I'm not saying all Chinese are like that. Like I said, I'm part Chinese. And I'm even talking to somebody in China, and she doesn't like how the guys are. Yeah, the women are actually looking at Western men. White, black, doesn't matter. Because they do not like how the men are. And I'm like thinking, you guys are going around doing things like this. There's something wrong with your culture, something wrong with your mindset.
Right.
You're losing your women. They don't want to have anything to do with you. But while I'm here in the liberal state, hard to be a conservative out here. Especially, you always get some liberal trying to lecture you about, oh, you shouldn't think this way because you're a person of color.
Yeah, I'll try to do the same. You know, it's funny how you got these liberals that are trying to shame you into behaving a certain way based on your skin color, but they're going to be the ones that also say that you shouldn't judge based on skin color and you shouldn't be racist. Well, if you're trying to tell me how I should behave based on my skin color, isn't that the exact same thing you're trying to speak against? How does it make any sense? It doesn't, but that's how they operate.
Exactly. And here's what I find absolutely funny. It's like you try to tell a person of color, I hate that term, like how to think and be all this. Isn't that mighty white supremacist of you to do all that?
That's a very good point.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's rather white supremacist of you to say that. Yeah. When you talk to people of color like this, you think of us as children.
Yeah.
Can't think of on our.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, I see that a lot, and I kind of throw that against a lot of these people. I throw it back in their faces a lot, and you know, they kind of get stuck and they don't know really what to say, how to handle it. Because they're so used to speaking to somebody that's white, but when they get across somebody like me, it's like, what can you really do?
Exactly. And the irony is, so since I live out here in the belly of the beast, you go more inland in California. Believe it or not, it's way more conservative out there. We actually go in the inlands of California.
Oh yeah, that makes
so
more
away
sense
from,
because you're further away from the big cities.
Yep, they're actually very conservative there. Like, not super, but pretty conservative to the point where it's center right.
Yeah.
And every time I have a conversation with customers that I get from there, I don't feel like, okay, they're talking down to me because I'm like, they think of me as some child. No, they talk to me as an equal. And I'm like, okay, this actually kind of helped in my journey to being a conservative.
Yes.
And I'm like thinking, you know what? I think I'm going to be I even managed to convince my sister. Of course, she still doesn't like Trump, but she's now a conservative as well.
There we go.
That's
good. She's on the right path. Like, she might not like Trump or whatever, but she still has the mind state and going in the right direction.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like thinking, and when I present these arguments to even people I deal with out where I'm at, I'm like, this is what we believe in. They're like, but this is what the conservatives believe in, and it lines up with what we believe in with the conservatives. I'm like, okay, oh, wow. We really are conservative. We just don't know it. But anyway, I'm actually happy to say that the conservative movement, especially in the blue-collar areas, especially in the black blue-collar areas, is starting to spread ever so slightly. So I'm reporting some good news on that. I just thought I'd call in just to say, yo, this is what it is. This is how we should do it, all that. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem. It was a pleasure.
All right now.
All right, bye.
All righty. Shout out to my man from the belly of the beast over there in California, dropping some truth bombs. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so and like the video. Likes are free. The subscribing is free. The sharing is free. And the listening is always free. The calling is free as well. Let's get to my next call. Who's something on the line I'm speaking to?
Yeah, this is Ivan, man. I know you were waiting for my call.
Not really, but hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
A couple of points. Very quick. Venezuela, I think you're wrong when you talk about Venezuela being a socialist country. It's not.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's not. It's totalitarianism. It's not. You read the term of socialism.
You said it's what now?
It's totalitarianism. It's not socialism. We have socialism in the United States, right? We've been having socialism in the United States for a very long time.
Is that right?
And we're still, yeah. We got Social Security, we got Medicaid, we got the public school system, we got social services, we got human services. That's socialism, right? Why should I pay?
What is socialism?
Socialism is the condition when a country, when a government controls the production of a business. For example, I will own a bank. The bank, let's say Bank of America, is owned by the United States of America, and they control how many loans they're going to give out. They control what is the profit margin. They control etc., etc., etc. So it's not, we don't have that in America.
Exactly.
So all this thing that you say that AOC is advocating for socialism is wrong. It's not true, because we don't have socialism in that aspect. We have certain components of socialism in America, of course, like in England, we got in Australia, Netherlands, Sweden, all those countries, they have certain components, but they don't have socialism as a government function. It's not true.
But so she ran as a democratic socialist.
What do you mean a democratic socialist? What the hell is that?
That's what she ran on. Sir, hold on. Don't curse at me now, because I'm not the one. Wait, sir. Let me just finish my statement.
Okay.
I'm not the one that said it. She did. She's talking about being democratic socialist. So don't ask me. Why don't you ask her?
Well, you could have a democratic system and a certain component, like I explained to you before, they're part of socialism.
But why are you telling me? You don't got to tell me. You got to tell her.
Yeah, but you are so she said, and you repeating it.
No, I'm just saying. You said that she didn't talk about wanting socialism, but she actually did.
No. What I said, she's not advocating for socialism in America.
But
because she's not advocating the government control the production.
But she ran as democratic socialist, so you're wrong.
No, it's not the same. I just explained to you. Socialism is the control of productions of private entities. So that means if I own a business, let's say like the NBA is controlled by the government. The government runs the NBA. We don't have that in this country. We never will have that. Do we have some component of socialism in this country? Yes, we have from a long time. And maybe we're going to have socialized medicine at some point. I don't know. Could be possible.
So
maybe
if you have single-payer health care, would that be socialism?
Well, but that's a component. That's one component.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's one component. I'm not saying the whole country. I'm not saying, and actually, we did imply component of socialism in the banking industry when the banking collapsed in 2008, when the federal government started buying this back investment from these banks and then sold them back. So that's socialism. When the government decided to bail out GM from the financial disaster, that's socialism, because the government should have no intervention in the private sector.
Do we control GM or the banks?
Well, they did make certain decisions.
Like what?
In order for the banks to make sure they could stay afloat, they have some charges. Say, well, if you met these conditions, you get the money. So make sure they get the money back.
So that's not control. It's a matter of, okay, here's the conditions that you can. Wait, sir. You got it. Just when I'm talking, you got to just talk. Okay. Pause. So it's not control, because what happens is they say, okay, you can get this if you do this. They have a choice. Control, the choice is taken away, so you don't control it.
They did control the
No,
banks.
you can't give somebody an option and say that you're controlling them. If you're controlling them, there is no option. It's very simple. So let's move on to the next point that you want to make about socialism not being here.
But nothing what you guys are advocating is not true. You, Brandon Tatum, and it's always nothing is true. It's not true. And they did control certain areas, certain function of the banking industry in the United States. The major banks, they told Countrywide to merge the bad accounts. I think with J.P. Morgan, if I'm not remember, the government say you're gonna buy. The government told Countrywide you're gonna buy the bad investment from J.P. Morgan. They have no choice. They have to do it.
Okay, why is that? Is it
so
because
the government
is it a
have
law?
some rules.
Oh, wait. Is there a law in the books that says it has to happen? Was it some kind of law that they broke?
I mean, I'm not an expert, but
okay,
I'm going to give you my understanding.
Sir. Before you cite that one, you may want to think that it could be a law in the books that makes that be the case, because there are laws in the country that you got to follow regardless of who you are. If you are a private, not done. If you are a private citizen, I'm talking because you can't nobody hear you. If you are a private citizen or if you are a civilian, you got to follow certain laws. A private citizen or a company, you got to follow certain laws.
Well, that's what I just said. That aspect is socialism, but we don't have.
So our laws, socialism. Sir, our laws socialism.
Certain aspects of our laws are socialized.
So yes. if you have regulations on certain businesses in general and certain people in general, just things you got to follow. You can't be stealing. You can't hire illegal aliens. Is that socialism to say that you can't do things?
That's not socialism. That's certain rules and regulations.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to explain to you again. Socialism.
All right. I don't need you to talk too much more. Just move to your next point. All right, just move to your next point because you're muted. I'll give you 2 seconds or I'm going to hang up. All right, so move on to your next point.
Okay, next point. The Mueller report. On my opinion, I think the Attorney General misled in some of the areas. I mean, I hope that the special counsel Mueller I wanted to go to Congress and pretty much testify so we could clarify certain of the things, because we don't even know the guidelines from the Attorney General office. So in order to move forward to prosecute, because we don't know what it was, they said he was saying that there were certain rules, there are certain guidelines that have to be met in order for him to move forward. And because those guidelines were not met, that's why we couldn't move forward. So I'm waiting for that. And I think Barr misled the U.S. by the people in this country.
Do you have a point it's trying to get to here? Because the time is wasting.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to. So that is that. So you guys got to stop saying that there's no. But you got to stop saying there's no collusion, no blah blah blah. Because
what is your point in saying all of that? What was your point there?
My point is that there was instances of collusion. There was just enough evidence to prove it.
Okay, if you can't prove it, then you can't say there was.
Well,
legally, you can't say that.
So you, when the kid, what is that kid that you were having today? That we have proof that he paid those two guys to beat himself up, and then even you have all the clerical evidence, but they couldn't move forward. So that means you believe that he didn't do it, or
they couldn't move forward, but they chose not to. But they actually did. They did, they also didn't say that he wasn't guilty of the whole situation. So he wasn't proven innocent.
Same thing.
And there's no evidence here. You just said there was no evidence.
So there's evidence.
There was evidence in that case, but in this case there wasn't evidence. You had people that were confessing. There was evidence in that case. There's not evidence in this case. So move on to your next thing.
There was evidence. Do you read the report?
Huh?
Do you read the Mueller report?
Yeah, I read it. I had to read, and there's no evidence.
So what about the meeting? What about the email that was sent to Junior? They say that the government, the Russian government, say we could help your father to win. That's not evidence.
Evidence of what? I mean, what is
evidence?
Evidence
that say when they went to meet in the Trump Tower.
The question is, what is the evidence of?
Evidence is when you look for information.
Let's listen to the question. What was that email you're talking about? Evidence of?
In base of the meeting that we're going to have, but they say what?
Sir, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You got to understand what I'm saying.
So what are you trying to tell me?
What was the email evidence of? What did it prove?
Couldn't prove enough.
Okay, all right. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get to my next call. So thank you for the call.
It's the same thing.
Thank you for the call.
You see, now you're backing up. Good.
You can't take all my time now.
Too smart for you, bro.
Yeah, you're
nice
brilliant.
Nice try, bro.
You're a brain surgeon. I'm so intimidated. Thank you for the call. You hung up. That's funny. Now, I mean, I was asking them, what is the evidence of? Like, okay, you said there was the email. What does that prove? There was an email that the Russian government can help you. Okay. Did the Russian government help? Was there any kind of follow-up? And so what the Russian government helped? Is that illegal? Is collusion illegal? So how are you going to get prosecuted for? How would you get prosecuted for a thing that's not illegal anyway? And where's the evidence that it happened? Hillary Clinton was so-called colluding with foreign governments. But the Ukrainians. So, I mean, is that collusion too? Should you go to jail for that? I mean, it's not illegal to get opposition research from a different country. It's just the narrative that's being spun right now is that somehow the media, somehow Trump is involved with some kind of, nefarious scheme. That's what is the narrative that's being spun right now. So, the USA invasion, you got to be able to prove that. There's no USA invasion right now that I see. If there's an invasion going on, show me where you see some U.S. citizens going into Venezuela and invading. I saw Trump say that he wants a peaceful transition. That does not mean that he wants to invade. Let's get to the next call. All right, caller, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hello, Anthony. This is Jeremy Corbyn, the head of the opposition of the United Kingdom. How are you doing, sir?
Everything's great, man. How about yourself?
Very good. I was referred to you by a good colleague of mine, the Lord Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, and I was hoping you could help me with my mission right now. I am in league right now with one of your great patriots, Mr. Beto O'Rourke, and I am declaring a climate emergency here in the United Kingdom.
Oh, it's a climate emergency, huh? So, I mean, how much money would that cost to fix?
Well, I mean, who cares? You can just print all the money you want. I mean, what kind of question is that?
So you could just so you could just print money. It doesn't matter if the value of the currency diminishes just tenfold when you print the money. You can just do that and have that be what you do.
Of course, Anthony. Yeah, I mean, even since 1994, I had a LaserJet printer in my office, so you can print as much as you want.
Oh wow! Okay, that's pretty interesting. So, why is Beto O'Rourke? why is Robert Francis O'Rourke, aka Beto, in UK? Is he trying to go back to Ireland to find his ancestry, to find his family on Ancestry.com? What's going on with the whole situation there?
I don't know about that question. Although if he were to go back to Ireland and seek to liberate it from the evil British colonialists, I should have him for tea on the terrace over here in Parliament. So you can pass that message on to him.
Okay, so how about Trump? When's Trump coming back to UK to hang out and drink some tea?
Oh, I should see him before he sees me, because with this emergency, we will in effect be declaring it over all of Her Majesty's realms, past and present, and that would include his.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So anyway, is there any other amazing news going on in the world? I hope that soon the workers' revolution will reach your shores, because of course, it seems progress is much stronger south of the border over there, seeing as there are several countries that have thriving workers' economies, and you seem to be in some sort of, pardon my French, S-hole, as your commander-in-chief would say.
Well, I think we're pretty good over here. We're not really having a crisis. The employment is booming, jobs are being added. We got a lot of positive feedback from the people, a lot of optimism going on. Consumer confidence is really high. UK, I'm seeing the problem in London with the murder rate. Although you guys have very tight gun control, the murder rate has gone beyond that of New York City. So what's going on with that? How are you going to, alleviate some of these knife crimes going on in London town?
I mean, if we have to, knife crime is really, it's a social construct. Some people, they just, they want so bad to be a surgeon, and there's not enough money for, a medical education. So they have to surprise the would-be patients and try to carve out their kidneys out in an alley, by Piccadilly Circus. So, I mean, what do you want? It's the poverty of the lower class masses, Anthony. You could probably talk a lot about that, seeing as you live in the poorest country in the world, and it is filled with anti-Semites and neo-Nazis.
Well, actually, it's not like that. This is a pretty nice place to live. The media will have you believe something that's not true. It's a very nice place to live.
Oh, the media. What are you, some sort of Jew?
Oh, wait, hey. wait a minute. That's going. Hey, we're not going to do that on this show.
Sorry. Could we edit this out?
Hey, we're live, so I can help you out with that one. You got to talk to the people over in UK to try to get them to censor. And what's going on with that anyway? The censorship happening. You can't even have memes in UK. What's going on with that?
Memes must be redistributed evenly before they can be appropriately humorous. I mean, don't you understand the proper British humor?
Hey, I don't know anything about that, the British humor. All I know is that I don't want any kind of censorship, and I don't want to fill out no GRE or anything like that. Just give me my memes the old-fashioned way all over the world, not just the United States and the free country, unlike Great Britannistan.
No, Anthony, you don't understand how free speech works. You see, if free speech should always be free, but if it becomes too free, there is an overheating, much like the climate crisis that's worldwide. The freedom just keeps percolating, and eventually you have people that end up memeing too hard and they end up shooting people in, religious centers like the synagogue over there, which I fully condemn because, I condemn all acts of anti-Semitism, as everybody knows.
Well, hey, Mr. Corbin.
Except, I mean, if they were going to do it, what they would have to do is to blow up an airliner over Panama and yell Allahu Akbar. That's the way to do it. That would clear the way. If you were going to do it, I'm just saying.
Well, hey, I'm speechless right now. I don't have anything to say about that. So, Jeremy Corbin, is there anything you want to add to the call?
Yes, the planet's heating up, and I hope everybody can vote Beto for 2020. It's Beto 2020, or you beta be hot in 2030.
All right. Well, that was Jeremy Corbin, and thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Charmed to speak with you as well, sir.
All right, now.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, yeah, that really was Jeremy Corbin. That wasn't a troll call. That was him for real. Yeah. So, shout out to him. It got a little weird there for a moment, but, I made sure that just kind of stayed under control. So, shout out to him, and shout out to all you guys in the chat. I really, really appreciate y'all for joining. We got about 250 in the building right now. Thank you to the super chatters. Shout out to Christopher Sansaban. Hopefully I did not butcher your name. Who says, just found your channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. Let me see. Thank you to Nathan Shield for the donations. He says, what about HRC and the uranium scandal? Very good point. I'll get back to you in just one moment. Nolo King, what's happening?
Hey, man. Good evening. How are you?
Everything's great, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, man. Have you seen Joe Biden's rally speech, his first one?
I don't know if it was his first one, but I did see one speech where he was slurring his way through it. Is that the one you're talking about?
I think it was the one everybody was wearing yellow. There were like 600 people.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was the same thing, man. even just thinking about it, the guy had no energy, and I watched it. And you could just see the people in the audience. They're very excited in the beginning, and they were just yawning and falling asleep, stumbling. He's going on about morality and how he's going to make America moral. It's just like, I'm imagining the debates, man, between those two.
Hey, the thing about it is, that's why I was trying to tell people. It was like the age matters. Joe Biden is 76 or 77. He's old. He's old. Yeah. He's an old man. Like, you can't be that old and kind of like not taking care of yourself. He's around Barack Obama. He's up there smoking cigarettes and probably tooting cocaine or something. Man, you can't be that old trying to, like Trump had some energy. And I was surprised that he had that kind of energy. I mean, you saw Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was younger than Trump by a year, and she was no more good throughout. They had to physically drag her. They had to pick her up and drag her just 2 feet to go from the curb to the car. And during the election night, she couldn't come back out. She was in the bed sleeping. Like, hey, look, man, I don't care about the mods. I'm gonna just go to bed. I don't care if I lost, whatever. Trump was out there all night. Joe Biden is trying to be like Trump, but Joe Biden is like 5 years older than Trump. It just is not going to work out too well.
Yeah, man. And I've been going down the rabbit hole of left-leaning YouTubers and people on Twitter, and they're just outright lying, man. Like Kyle Kulinski, he's going on with this tax myth. When people are complaining, oh, my tax refund was much lower. And Kyle, instead of being honest and saying, well, it's because you paid less tax, he's saying, you see, this is the kind of America we have. You're going to have less tax refunds. You know what I mean? It's just so deceptive and so dishonest. It actually made me a little nauseous watching it.
Yeah, that whole thing is crazy. I've been seeing that a lot as well. And I've been trying to tell people, look, hey, you have more money in your check every week. That's the thing. So you're not going to have as much given back to you because you had less taken away. Like, nobody wants to hear that. They're just saying, oh, I got less in my taxes. It's like, come on, man. Like, see that right there, you could tell somebody that's on the left when they say something like that, because those of us on the right, we've always been saying, let's keep more of our own money in our own pockets. That's been our whole thing for the whole time. We got it, but they didn't want that. I guess they want the government to take from them, give it back to them in a check. It's just kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, but let's just hope you guys are going the same direction as Canada, because the last few provincial elections have been conservative. Even provinces where they thought the Liberals were going to win. So Justin Trudeau, his time is running out. You can tell I'm in a good mood, man. Seeing Joe Biden just fail, and Trudeau's going to be out in October. So things are looking up, man. We just have to stay positive and get through all the craziness.
Oh, 100% correct. Absolutely.
All right, man. Peace.
Peace. All right. Thank you to Nolo King for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And that Joe Biden speech was painful, to say the least. It was a big mess. Hold on. Let me see what's going on right here. This is like Chuck Grassley, I think. Y'all let me know who this is when I put him up on the screen. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Give me one moment. Get it together. Okay. I'll put it on the screen. All right, let's have that be right there. Cool.
The last time he was here, they said, has Bob Mueller expressed any concerns to you? And he said, no, and I don't know if there are any concerns. He had had a letter. He had had a phone call. Yeah. The letter clearly says there are concerns. So
he had that conversation, and you heard him say, and I have to assume that Mueller said it to him, that he was only concerned about how the media played it. So I think here's where we are. The Democrats and you folks in the media are not concerned about the report. I think you're concerned about the results weren't what you expected. And I think we're finding out that everybody was sold a bunch of snake oil, and now the jig's up.
and just walk away like that. That's hilarious. Wow. Hopefully they don't try to strike me on that music right there, but I should be fine. That was just a quick instrumental, but that's hilarious. Shout out to my man for that. Hey, that was right on point. Right on point. and just walk away. Just drop the mic. Hey, when I get to be like 1,000 years old, that's gonna be me right there. Hey, no disrespect to my man, because I was on point, but once I get to be elderly, that's gonna be me right there. So shout out to him. Was that Chuck Grassley? I think that's who that was. Fantastic. Yeah, that was definitely a mic drop moment. Hey, I didn't even see that coming. I'd never seen it. I just saw it on my Twitter timeline right quick. I didn't know that was going to actually happen. But let me get to my next call. All right, Victor, what's going on? Victor, can you hear me?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah. So, man, I haven't been calling for a while. It's because of Julian Assad. I mean, ever since he got busted away.
You're breaking up a little bit there, boss. Victor, the air? Okay, you got a bad connection. Let's see if you can stay on the line. Okay, Victor, try to call me back, Victor, because I think your connection is just not really hanging in there. All right. So shout out to Victor. Hopefully we get that connection trouble patched up. That'd be good. Hey, he dropped that mic and stomped on it. That's right, Woman 757, 1,000%. I think Victor was talking about Julian Assange when he got yeah, not Assange, when he got caught or when he got taken out of the embassy in London town. Yeah, that was Chuck Grassley. Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm right. I don't want to say nothing wrong here. Okay. All right, Victor, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Skype crashed on me while I was talking.
Wow. I'm telling you, man, Skype, it's the worst.
So anyway, like I was saying, ever since Julian Assad got busted, or Ecuador stopped supporting him, I had to hide because I was afraid that he may snitch on me. And then when everything was cleared, I wanted to call, but I blame it on white supremacy.
Hey, that's the easy go-to right there. White supremacy. I'm about to get caught by the police as I ran the red light. White supremacy. That's a cure to everything.
Yeah, man. And those two debates that you had with the black woman and then with the black guy, how they just blaming everything on white supremacy, and with the black woman in particular, how she convoluted everything on reparations. I could see why people are not even listening to black people plight.
Yeah, ain't nobody trying to hear that. We're pretty much done with it. It's like, okay, I'm finished. Like, I don't want to hear this no more.
Yeah, and so like, and that the black man, how they were talking about not criminalizing the petty crimes. He said that, well, what we need to do is to educate. I'm like, that's the solution. All right, the solution is not to criminalize the petty things. The solution is to educate, so they make sure that they won't do any criminal activities.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. So when you get locked up for doing this, then you'll learn not to do it no more. It's, you got to have a cause and effect. You can't just be like, oh, well, you could do whatever you want and go home and never have any kind of consequence.
Yeah, and then with the black woman talking about reparations, she said, "Oh, well, it's not just slavery. Is this, is that, is this and that." Well, okay, then why can't you fight for those things instead of trying to fight for everything? Because all those things that you're talking about, you're fighting for, didn't affect every black person, especially when she brought up redlining. I heard this before. A lot of black people like to bring up redlining.
Yeah.
And I read about redlining. The people who were actually affected by redlining and they got caught, they were actually got paid off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. And then on top of that, I know that my parents wasn't affected by redlining. My grandparents weren't. My parents' friends, they weren't affected by that. So why are you trying to bring in redlining with the reparations when black people as a whole wasn't affected by it?
Right. They're trying to bring that up. Like they don't even really talk about the historical context. It was not a law that was on the books that said that you have to redline and all this and that. It was certain bank policies. It was not all bank policies, and not everybody was affected because you had black banks back then more than you have right now. So if you had black banks, then how was it possible for them to be redlining at a certain point? And really, it was about your credit or what they thought your credit history might be and your ability to pay certain things back. When you start to loosen some of these restrictions, that's when you have things that should not be happening at a bank. That's why Wells Fargo got in trouble. They were doing a thing called ghetto loans, is what they called it internally.
Yeah.
Where they were giving loans to other folks that couldn't pay them back. And then they had to get not only fined for it, also kind of damaged reputation because now they're known as racist and all this, that, and the third. So, yeah, I mean, people just talk about things to appear to be a victim, although they're not really.
Yeah, yeah. So, moving on, man, I don't know why that you're not turned on by the bikini. I mean, what's wrong with the bikini, man? I mean, they look hot. I mean, like not metaphorically, but literally, they do look hot.
Yeah, they look like 1,000 degrees. You out there in Kenya by the equator with some scuba gear on outside. Like, come on, you about to bust in the flames. I know you're looking like if you're in water, in the shallow water, you're probably boiling like some gumbo right there. So yeah, it definitely looked hot for sure.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Egyptian beach volleyball team wearing the bikini. I was looking at them. I'm like, oh, bless your heart.
I mean, my thing is, okay, like, how was this even comfortable to be playing in? Like, that's my thing. It's just like if you got on a pair of Timberland boots and some jeans on the basketball court, you're probably not going to really get up and do no 360 dunks. You might not really be too mobile and athletic in that type of attire. So I can imagine how the beekeeper outfit on the volleyball court would operate. Not too well.
Yeah, and then seeing the pictures on the Sports Illustrated photo, I mean, you only need to leave the door crack, and then once you leave the door crack, anything goes. I mean, for instance, what I'm trying to say is that, I mean, all those poses and stuff. I mean, man could have a dirty mind, and you could dress modest and look and not showing anything, but the way you pose, man could think sexually.
Exactly. That's what I was saying in my video. It was like all of this stuff, the Sports Illustrated, all of that stuff is considered haram or forbidden in Islam. So you can have on all the scuba suits you want to, all the head wraps you want to. If you got this little seductive pose and you got your lipstick and makeup on, that right there is considered haram because you're behaving immodestly. So this whole thing is just to try to appeal to the Western audience that wants a virtue signal.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it today where at my job, I saw this black woman walk by, and even though she was dressed modest, dressed professional, she's very voluptuous.
Yeah, and she can't hide that.
Yeah, and so the dress that she was wearing, it was fitting on every curve.
Yeah.
So of course, if a guy saw her walking around randomly, of course they're going to think dirty because it's showing every curve on her.
Right. It's just a natural reaction.
Yeah, exactly. So also what the Pope is doing. Yes, you could be Catholic and you could disagree with the Pope, and this is one of them where you could also where you could get a lot of Catholics, especially a lot of the traditional Catholics, that disagree with what the Pope is doing. In fact, there's a Nigerian bishop named Cardinal Sarah, which they wish that he was he is Pope right now. He came out, I believe, last month or maybe 2 months ago, to say that what they're doing with immigration today is another form of slavery. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and then then you have you also have other cardinals like, well, okay, I don't know if this guy's a cardinal. I think he's a bishop, but a guy named Athanasius Snyder, and a guy named Cardinal Vigano, who basically is a whistleblower about the whole gay clergyman stuff. You are speaking out against the Pope. So you do have other Catholics that are trying to keep up with the true teachings of the Church. That is speaking out against the Pope.
Very good, absolutely, because somebody should do something. Like I'm glad others are speaking up within the Church.
Yeah, and then there's this one Catholic named Dr. Taylor Marshall on YouTube that he actually talked about the immigration and the Catholic teaching. So if people want to go see that, you could look him up on YouTube and see what he says about it. It's very good. And also back to Cardinal Sarah, the Cardinal Bishop, what he also said that he's getting tired of seeing Christians try to use the Bible to justify this illegal immigration, which if they actually read the Bible and what they trying to point out to is the Jews in the Old Testament. What they're doing, what the Jews was doing was nowhere close to what we're experiencing in America. In fact, you cannot Jews during those times, they cannot have an open border because they were surrounded by nations who want to take them out, who want to obliterate them.
That's right.
So I don't know why they try and use the Bible to justify this illegal immigration.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a mess, but that's not going to last too much longer, in my opinion.
Yeah. So before I head out, I want to tell you that my family and I, we went to SeaWorld, and during our time at SeaWorld, I went to get a drink for my wife, and they didn't have lids for the cups. They gave the cup, but they don't give out lids.
Okay.
And I said, well, can I have a lid? And they said, no, we don't do that because we're trying to protect wildlife. And I'm thinking to myself, then what's the point? why do you even have these recycle bins out then?
And you know what? They probably won't give you a lid because they won't give you a straw.
They didn't. They don't even do a straw either. Because of the whole plastic in the ocean.
Yeah.
That they don't give out those things. That's what they're saying. But like I said, it's a waste of money that you're not going to give out these plastic items, and you have this recycling bin where we're supposed to put these plastic items in the recycling bin so we could reuse them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
All right. Great call from my man Victor. Definitely appreciate him. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the super chatters. Who do we have here? We got Nathan Chio, who says, with all these illegal immigrants, they are pulling the job market down. The guys on the top will lose too. We don't make money. They don't make money. I'm with you. But like a leopard says, the best response to hate is laughter and parody. That's 100% correct. Right on it. Tsunami, I ain't gonna say your first name, says, I don't think Ivan likes that patriotic black Americans are waking up to the BS. Hey, Ivan, in Soviet Russia, the road forks you. Hilarious. Nathan Shields says, what about HRC and the uranium scandal? They don't want to talk about that. That's like a conspiracy theory to them. Let me see. I think I got everybody. Oh, hold on. Nathan Shields says, socialism is government-controlled capitalism. He also says, we have a mixed economy. I hear the Amish are having 7 kids per family. Maybe the future will be the past. And I think that is pretty much me. Get to my next call. 416 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It's Cigar Box.
How about it,
How you doing?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
The world's going crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know a YouTuber by the name of Sydney Watson?
No, I don't.
It's a girl, Sydney Watson, and she's got a dual citizenship with Australia and the U.S. Well, there's another guy, and he's got a dual citizenship, but his is Australian and Israeli. Now, he's a bit of a disturber, for
at any rate, this
want of a better term. But he was interviewed for that Jim Jeffries show. You know, the one on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And what they do is they cut up everything that you say, and then they piece it back together and make you look like a jerk.
Of course.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, what Avi Yemeni did, this other guy, he hit a camera and he showed exactly what the interview was and the stuff that Jim Jeffries said to get him to act the way that he did and say what he did. And it was kind of really rough going, I'm telling you, pretty bad. So they decided, Sydney Watson and Avi Yemeni were going to come to the U.S. from Australia. They wanted to try and talk to Jim Jeffries and try and talk to Comedy Central about what kind of crap they're pulling. And then I think they were going to be guests on Dave Rubin's report. And apparently they showed up at Los Angeles airport. They got yanked aside, but not together. They were separate. And they asking them, like, what are you doing here? Blah, 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 blah. And they couldn't, I don't think they could deport Sydney Watson because she's got the American citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
But they deported the other guy.
Oh.
And it was because Comedy Central said so.
Wow. So Comedy Central, okay, so they're going to Comedy Central to do the show and everything's okay, but Comedy Central snitched on them and got one of them deported, but Comedy Central and this guy Jim Jeffries, wouldn't they be on the left? Wouldn't they be against calling ICE? Wouldn't they be on the side of the judge that got that man to to escape ICE in the courtroom. This is crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty sharp, aren't they?
Yeah.
Anyways, they wouldn't. What was the word for it? Christ, I can't think. Anyways, they snitched on him basically, and they said they were afraid that they were going to do something, like come in and shoot somebody or some crazy crap. I think that's what they sort of worded it as. And I thought, this is kind of bizarre that they will kick them out who are coming here for something like that, yet let people just wander across the border and defend them.
Well, see, the thing about it is there are certain people that they want to defend and certain people that they don't. So all this stuff about, they're just coming here for safe harbor or nobody's illegal, that's not even true. They don't believe that. They want to protect certain people. If you're a brown person and they feel like they have some kind of superiority over you and they need to protect you like a pet, then they're going to fight for you. But if you are a person with your own mind and you're not a brown person and they can't protect you or lord over you, then they're going to be aggressive towards you and they're going to be downright dirty and nasty. All their principles, all their values and whatnot go out the window. All this stuff about nobody's illegal, they toss that to the side and become very authoritarian very quickly.
Yeah. When she got back and was talking to Avi, apparently he said he was in a holding tank with a bunch of illegals, and all they were doing was sitting there yakking about how much they hate Trump and how much they hate America. It's just unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I thought, why are you going to this country if you hate the country?
Right. It's crazy.
But I just thought that was kind of bizarre. That anybody wants to look it up. I mean, her channel's really good. Sydney Watson. She talks about a bunch of all kinds of things. So I just thought I'd put that out there. If you can check this out, I don't know if every single thing that I said is 100% true, but that's what it kind of wafted down to. Anyway, thanks a lot for taking the call. Have a good night, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
Wow, that is a crazy story. I'm going to look into that. So that's Sydney Watson, SYDNEYWATSON. Yeah, I'm going to look into that. But that's crazy. But, that's the left for you. They don't, all this stuff about nobody's illegal, they don't really believe that. They don't believe it at all. Let me get to my next call here. 718, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Analytical Chick. Has to turn her, mute her video. Okay.
All right, now, what's going on with you? How's everything been?
So actually, one of the first things I had forgotten I wanted to mention this, but this is something that I think needs to get more traction. Somebody posted some sort of news report that, and I knew this, but people need to know about this, that people in the other countries, they're actually putting up TV ads and radio ads to those countries where they're telling them, you can, we need you, and if you have a kid, they're actually putting up ads on the radio to tell them this.
Wait, hold on. So in other countries, they're doing, who's doing the radio ads? What's you got to kind of back up a little bit. So I think what you're saying is, in other countries, they're getting ads that appear to be from the U.S. talking about we need you?
Yes.
Oh, now who is behind this? You got some kind of dark money, or who do you think is behind this?
Yeah, people were asking that in the comments. They were like, "Who's putting these ads up?" They at one point, Fox News did do an expose of what was going on with all this immigration, and they had found some organizations that they tied to all this caravan garbage. And one of them was an illegal who lived in Chicago, was running it. And it was, of course, their money was coming from Soros. Because, healthcare matters, just put George Soros, the big rich Soros.
Of course, I'm not surprised at all. That'd be the number one culprit right there that I would think of right away.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I have slight side note. I think people should actually say Soros groups, because I know when I was like a political beginner, everyone kept saying George Soros is paying for this, and I was just like I couldn't comprehend it. I didn't understand what they meant, but it was actually like a wealthy man who was funneling money through groups. So I think it helps to say Soros-tied groups or George Soros-tied groups.
Correct.
Fake charities from George Soros.
Correct.
So just to throw that out there. But another thing I wanted to actually mention, the actual reason why I had wanted to call was, I don't know if you know about this, but Blonde and the Matt, they have a weekly show, and they did something where people who regularly listen to their show can put their information, like email address and their city, into a spreadsheet, and then the spreadsheet sorts by, I think, like state or what they put down for city or whatever. So then people can turn around and search the spreadsheet and contact all these people in their area. So now they're having all these fan listener meetups.
Oh wow! Yeah, I think I did hear about that, and that's pretty cool. That's very cool. Hopefully they
so
actually
I
go
was
to
actually.
Go ahead.
I was actually going to try to encourage some of the large YouTubers to do this. I think this would be a good way to connect. I'm in Republican clubs, and it's like all old people, and mostly like 50 and older. And I think this would be a good way if you can get like one or two youthful people in those clubs, and then people start having these listener meetups, and then we can actually tell people about these clubs that they would probably never find otherwise.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's definitely a good point. I've done some meetups before, but not just me. I've been to a Blexit rally. I've been to another event with. I've been to, like, I say probably about 4 or 5 events with different people, and I met with people that are listeners, and I plan on doing some more. Maybe just me doing some stuff with other people, with some friends, and also getting to some of these groups, because you're right. A lot of these groups, they're older people, usually like 60, 70. Like you go to some of these meetings, everybody has a head full of gray hair. That's usually how it goes. You got to have more of the youth. And one thing that I've been told secondhand through a local politician is that they're looking for the next people to come after them, because they're not going to be around forever. At a certain point, they're going to retire and pass away. They want the new generation to come in. So they want them to come in, but I think it's kind of a gap in between them and us. But they want us, though.
Well, I don't think they're not thinking to like get on social media and find people. They don't know that all the Republicans are like on YouTube and Twitter now. So I've been trying to find people on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube to like tell them about different events and post events in like local groups to try to get people who are, not even that tied into conservatism, that maybe they should see a posting and potentially hit a group. But it's painstaking, because it's like you got to go and like find people. Like the way that I've been trying to find other people from New York on like Twitter is I look at we've got like 3 or maybe the small number of Republican politicians we have out of New York City. So then I start commenting and interacting with people who are commenting on their, posts and stuff like that. And then through that, I'm able to find other people from the New York City area. Like in particular, the woman who ran for mayor on the Republican ticket to try to oust de Blasio, which unfortunately was both woefully unsuccessful.
Right.
But now everybody found her and they're following her, so that's a good way to find other Republicans.
Absolutely.
People who are not otherwise engaged.
Right.
So, and I encourage people to do this. Like, if you're in a liberal area, like, find that one or two, Republican politician, try to find other people, connect with them, see if you have a Republican club, try to go into Facebook and search for like your area plus Republican, like your county or the city near you or, your neighborhood. Like try all these different things and see what you can find. And you can also match them with Tea Party and see what you can find that way. And eventually you might be able to find some people and find out what's going on.
There it is. Very well said. Well, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, I just see Vashna. She's in New York City? Wow, yes. Anyway, thanks for having me on. Everyone subscribe to my channel. Shameless plug.
Oh, definitely. Tell them how to find you.
If you search Analytical Chick, you should find it. Also, I'm going to comment in a second. If you hover over the right, there's 3 dots when somebody has a comment. So then you can just click on those 3 dots, and one of the options will be go to channel. So you can go to my channel that way, or anyone else's, actually.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
All right. No problem. All righty. You go subscribe to Analytical Chick. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find her right quick, and I'll put a link in the chat. Let me see. Analytical Chick. There we go. All right. Let me see. Just give me 1 second here and put this in the chat. And thank you to everybody that's been here. We got a little while longer, about 15 more minutes. Please like the video if you have not liked it yet. Also, subscribe if you're a first-time viewer. All right. There we go. Let's get to my next call. Okay. 503, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Monica.
All right, Monica, what's going on?
Oh, hi. I just want to tell you I really enjoy your show. Me and my kids be watching it. And we are Trump supporters as well. And living in Oregon we're kind of a real minority here. Because it's mostly liberal here. So.
Yeah, I know how it is. On the left coast, it's kind of hard to find anybody that is on the same page with you. Now, can you be conservative in public, or you gotta kind of be on the low with it?
Absolutely not, because they'll jump on you and whip you down and hear about that. So it's like you gotta just like, if we get to talking politics, for instance, I work, for the state, so. It's real heated. It's become a heated discussion, and I just choose to be quiet about it. But I'm not really trying to be debating people and getting all emotional and all that stuff, because that's what they like to do here.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. You definitely want to stay, just stay safe, but still keep yourself the way you are. But definitely stay safe. That's got to be your priority. You got kids and everything, so yeah. So, but I'm glad y'all enjoyed the show. I'm glad you're able to watch and have that. At least you got that. So it's not just nobody that has your same point of view. Yeah.
And even with family members, because we're Christians, so in our family, like my dad's from Africa, and he's like brainwashed by CNN. It's like most of the African community is. I hate to say it, but it's true. It's like they live by everything that comes on CNN. And it's like my dad watches CNN 24/7. And it's like you can't even talk to him about nothing about Trump, because he's not even trying to hear it at all.
Yeah, I can imagine how that goes, especially, they kind of just stuck in their ways and not really trying to hear nothing else. The CNN is terrible. Right. And the thing about CNN is that it's not only in America, it's a different country. So if you come from a place, you have CNN there, you come here, it's CNN here, you think it's just the gospel, and nothing can be actually different or better than it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. And, they do take it as the gospel, and, everything that's on CNN is the truth, which we all know better and everything. But I had a question for you as well, because I was, I try to, I look at the news, the headlines and stuff, and absolutely I think that swimsuit thing is ridiculous. That is just crazy. I don't know what they're trying to do. But I was wondering how, this is separate from the question that I had, but I was wondering, have you heard any, like, real hardcore Muslims speak out about that? This lady doing a swimsuit, supposedly swimsuit picture with her, you know, her Muslim gear on and stuff. I mean, what are they trying to say? It's kind of like mixed messages. I don't understand it.
You're right about that. It's definitely a mixed message because, you know, Muslims, they can't be doing nothing like that because they think all that's haram. Any kind of fashion show, beauty, men's magazines, all that's wrong to them. So we definitely sending a mixed message. I've not heard any, you know, crazy Muslims out there talking about it, but I already know what they're going to say because I've heard this before.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even have no kind of magazines over there. You go to Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, you don't have these men's magazines out there. It's really, really conservative. So it's just not available. So they're not going to like it.
Yeah, and it's weird because I work with some Muslim ladies, and I mean they don't even wear a hijab, but they say they're Muslim. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of like Christians coming out the liquor store or something. I guess that's how you look at it. You know, if they don't wear the whole get up or whatever. So I thought if you know, real hardcore about it, you wrap your head up, you cover up your body, and you know.
Yeah, exactly.
All that.
Exactly, 100%. So that's not going to be something that you're not going to see this magazine anywhere really in the Muslim world. It's just not going to be a thing.
Yeah, it's just like a big joke or mockery or something. But I was seeing, I had saw a clip of something in my news feed that was talking about, they was saying that if Trump didn't release his tax returns, that he wasn't going to be on the ballot for 2020. Have you heard anything about that?
I've not heard about that, but that's crazy if that's true. I've never heard that before.
I seen that, and then they had a picture. I mean, it could be fake news or I don't know, but I was like, what? But, you know, I know they're getting pretty desperate that they're going to see whatever they can put together to keep him from running again, you know. So I was wondering, had you heard anything on that? But I'm pretty sure you'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, I gotta see that, but I've not seen it yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do something like that.
Yeah. Well, he definitely got my vote again because I'm not I'm not trying to deal with what they're trying to bring out. So yeah, I'm definitely voting for him again.
Oh, I'm right there with you, 100%. Ain't gonna be no, because there's nobody on the other side that can really do anything anyway. So
yeah,
it wouldn't make any sense to go otherwise.
Right. And what's his name? Biden.
Nah.
Yeah, these old guys, they need to sit down somewhere. Yeah, they all trying.
And see, the thing about it, Trump is old, but he's nowhere near as old as Joe Biden. You saw that speech where he was slurring through the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like he parties hard or something. I don't know, something about Trump. He looks like relaxed, like he just, you know, he hang out with his wife and his grandkids and stuff, and he take care of himself because, you know, he has a young wife, so he got to keep up.
Right.
So, you know, he look like he eats healthy and, you know, he gets his rest. But Joe look like he be hanging out, trying to kick it and party and stuff. You better sit down somewhere. He can't hang.
That's right. And you can see that when it's a speech, it's at night. He pretty much out of energy.
Yeah. He just doing something. Probably somebody been talking to him and told him to get on out there. So,
that's right.
Yeah, but keep up the good work though, and I really appreciate you. And we always got you every time you come on.
Well, I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, y'all take care.
All right, same to you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's get to my next one here. Nippin.
How are you?
Everything is great, man. How about yourself?
Not much. Yep. Now, I'm going to say this once and once only.
Uh-oh.
Not all Catholics are sex offenders, and not all Muslims are terrorists. Let's just keep that clear. But yeah, the Pope. Let's talk about the Pope.
Let's talk about him.
Yeah, helping out the migrant caravan, saying there should be no walls surround What do you have surrounding the Vatican?
It's definitely a wall on the Vatican.
Yep. I've been to the Vatican, and the last time I've checked, it was definitely a wall.
That's right.
And Venezuela. Who is Nicolas Maduro to say that Venezuelans can't get food? Who is he to say that we're not allowed to help them? He's calling help from the Americans an act of war.
Right. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, your
Exactly.
citizens, your citizens are starving to death. So maybe somebody on the outside should help. Just
I
feed your
accidentally turned on the live stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were saying?
Well, maybe since the citizens of Venezuela are starving, that there should be some kind of help from the outside. Maybe some food that might be of assistance.
Yeah. And Nicolas Maduro thinks it's an invasion. Yeah, and I'm more than happy to invade a country with food.
Right. You're not invading with some kind of ground troops and guns. You're just trying to drop some food off.
Exactly. The British did that in World War II to a lot of Germans who were imprisoned by the Nazis, like the Germans who opposed the Nazis.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of British and American troops did that. So yeah, it's not an uncommon thing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and now that Muslim model on a fashion magazine wearing a swimsuit, a burkini. Yeah, no. Look, I have a collage of how backwards society has gone. You might not be able to see it properly, but
okay, I see. It's kind of hard to see, but I see. It looks like kind of like a Marilyn Monroe looking figure on the left, 1946, and in 2019 you have the young lady from the Sports Illustrated.
Yep. That's how far we've progressed.
All right.
That now even being a blonde is considered oppressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It's actually the pinup model who wasn't being oppressed.
I can't even really tell.
Yeah, and Dubai actually has a zone in which you are allowed topless. But if you're found outside that zone, you will be punished.
Yeah, I even heard that you can't even wear short shorts to the mall. Like you might get a fine or arrested for that.
That's not true. Because I've been to Dubai.
Okay, and you've seen like real short shorts in the shopping mall.
Yep.
Okay.
I wore them too, and no one said anything to me.
You had on short shorts in the mall.
I had they were down to my knees. My knees.
I'm talking about like for women, short shorts, like shorts. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm talking about like Daisy Dukes, like really small shorts.
Yeah. I can't remember. It was 11 years ago, the last time I went to Dubai.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't remember, but definitely shorts are allowed in malls. So it's not completely banned.
Right, I got you.
And then who's this Barr person? I've watched the Venezuela video, I've watched the Pope video, and I've watched the Burkini video.
Okay, you're doing better. William Barr, the Attorney General.
Oh yeah. I always get confused between Roseanne Barr and yeah, and yeah. If you remember, quite some time ago, when ISIS liberated Iraq. No, they were taken away from Iraq by liberated. That's what I meant.
Okay.
A lot of the men started shaving their beards off, and a lot of women started throwing off their burqas and started to burn them. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yes.
Yeah, it was in Syria, not Iraq. My mistake.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, what was the Barr testimony?
Well, I did not have time to see it, but he was testifying today in front of Congress about the Mueller report. So some people saw it, but I didn't have time to see it.
Wow. And this Jesse, I can't remember his surname.
Jesse Williams.
Yeah.
Not him. Smollett.
Smollett, yeah. Apparently he's got his show cut. He's a confusing person. Does he support Trump? Does he support Bernie?
He knows the Obamas very well. His family knows the Obamas very well. His sister has gone to many events with Michelle Obama, like on stage with her. So he knows them very well. So I'm not really sure who he supports outside of Obama, but he's definitely a never Trumper for sure.
Yeah. So when are you doing a UK tour of the TPUSA?
I don't know. I mean, I could go there with them. I could go there with other people. I don't know.
Yeah. You might be safe. You might be safe doing areas in London like Havering, which is quite a Brexit area. You could go to Essex and Kent. They're very hard Brexit as well.
Well, I'll check them out for sure. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try to get over there soon. So hopefully I'm able to do that.
Yeah, maybe you could do an event in Hyde Park. Maybe even a MAGA rally. So spread the cause.
Well, hopefully we got some security out there because I don't want nobody, to come Allah Akbaring.
Oh, by the way, a friend of mine used to. He's getting red pilled. Put it that way.
Okay.
Basically, I've seen statuses of him saying, "Oh, I'm a hardcore Bernie supporter, but if he doesn't get the nomination, I'm done with the Democratic Party."
Yeah.
I can see a red pill moment, and then he started saying things. Oh, feminists are this, feminists are that. He's alternating. I can see a red pill moment going through him right now.
Okay, well, hey.
Because I was just like him. I used to hate the right wing, but then I started going all this, and then I got red pilled.
Well, hopefully he could just make that transition. Just go over to the left and then, well, not to the left, but to the right, and just see how things are and just stay over there and don't come back. So hopefully he was able to make the transition for sure.
Yeah. And then and did you see that thing about something calling the Chinese person a white supremacist?
No, I didn't see that. A Chinese person got called a white supremacist?
I probably misheard the article. And apparently Ted Cruz rips apart Senate Democrats for quote-unquote weak arguments at the Barr hearing.
Yeah, that was during the Barr testimony, but I got to check that out. But I'm kind of out of time right now, Nippin, so I got to wrap it up here.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good, man. I thank you for the call as always. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, I forgot to say something about... You won't be taking any calls on Saturday, will you?
No calls on Saturday because I got Dr. Shiva coming in.
Okay, so we'll be back on next Thursday, I believe.
Thursday for you, Wednesday for me, yes.
Yeah,
for the call-in
precisely. Show. Yeah, but I'll be sure to check out the interview on Saturday. Type it, like, be in the chat or something.
Gotcha. That'd be fantastic, man. So thank you for the call as always. Definitely appreciate you.
I shall see you on Wednesday. Well, yeah, Thursday.
Thursday, Wednesday for me. All right now.
Yeah. Peace.
All right. Shout out to Nippy for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to the super chats right quick. Hold on, you guys. Let me just get 1 second. We got, let me see, Social Coder who says, "You're the best, Anthony. Much love." Thank you for that. Thank you to Curls It Is, who says, "ABL, watch Roseanne's son defend her on her channel." He calls out ABC and their bias. He was 100% right. Check it out. Will do. Thank you for that. Thank you to BDB, who says, keep an eye on the Smollett case. I don't think the city will let this one go, and keep up the great work, ABL. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. All right, SOBC, you on the line. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, ABL? Thanks for picking up my phone call.
Oh, no problem.
I know you're about to wind down here, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to just talk about. I just wanted to piggyback what you were talking to. What's his name? Udoka, the caller from Texas.
Yeah.
About what were you guys talking about again?
Udoka called gentrified neighborhoods. Gentrification.
Oh, gentrification. Just kind of had a blank here, but anyway, I just want to talk about that. So it's you did mention it was Chinese Africans there who are getting involved in the gentrification.
Yeah.
But it's just not them. It's African Americans too who are getting into the whole business of gentrifying their own communities. Because I had an African American gentleman sell my family member a gentrified house in the DC area. Right. And this guy, he goes around neighborhoods, cash in hand, offering people cash to buy their houses. That's what he does. So it's just, I think a lot of black people just hate white people, and white people are the easy blame for that whole phenomenon of gentrification.
That's a very good point, because I saw a documentary about the Geechee Islands off of South Carolina, and people were trying to keep their houses from being sold and all this and that. But it was one guy who was a black guy who had land ownership down there through family, because it's some kind of weird way to have their land given to them, some kind of complex process. But he was able to get it through a family member he'd never seen before in his life. So he was going down there selling property. People were mad at him and calling him a sellout. It was like, look, I'm just trying to do what's going to happen to you regardless. Sell now or be forced to sell later. So what's the problem? And that's pretty much where he's at with it. And there's a lot of people like that are African American doing this, but it's always the white man's fault for some reason.
Exactly, and it's all about the money. It's all about the money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also wanted to touch on that hijabi. One thing I've noticed is I think this whole hijabi wearing trend is, it's trendy, and it's kind of it's a Western Islam. I kind of refer them as westernized Muslims. They're not real Muslims. They're just trendy. They just kind of put on the hijab for that social justice warrior feel, to kind of get some social justice points, and I see them everywhere around around the city I work in. And the funny thing is, today I saw this young girl about maybe 20, 25 years old wearing a hijabi and wearing tight yoga pants. and I'm like, how do you? And first of all, she had a a little crop top. Her belly button was showing. She had on a hijab and yoga pants. And I'm like, what a contradiction that is. How are you going to wear a hijabi and yoga pants? That makes no sense.
That doesn't. You got two different worlds on. You're trying to be modest, but you being totally immodest. Like, you would get locked up for that in certain of these Islamic countries. You can't do that.
Exactly. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on that, and keep up the great work. We'll always be here supporting.
And thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Same to you. All right. That'll be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for calling. Definitely appreciate you. But I got to go. I'm over my time. I really, really thank y'all for being here. If you are a first-time viewer, please subscribe to the channel. That'd be great for me. Get a video a thumbs up and share the video as well. I got super chats right here I need to read out right quick, and then I'm out. Thank you to Social Coder, who says, voted third party in 2016, going Trump in 2020. You helped red pill me, ABL. Well, I'm glad I'm able to do that for you. thank you for your support, and hopefully you stick around and I'm able to help more people get red pilled. That means a lot to me. So thank you for that. I really, really appreciate you. And thank you to Nathan Shield, who says Bernie Sanders took advantage of the Trump tax cuts. Did you see on Fox how he got called out? That's hilarious. People talk about they want to pay more taxes and the tax cuts aren't fair. Well, if they want to pay more taxes, then go for it. You can donate money to the federal government if you want to. It is what it is. So just do that. Don't just take advantage of it and put money in your pocket. But I digress for now. I'm going to go ahead and close it on out. Shout out to all the mods. I cannot see you guys on the list. Matter of fact, yeah, I can. Hold on. Let me see if I can see it. Can I see mods? I don't know. This new thing with YouTube is just all over the place. I don't even know what's going on. Hold on. 1 second. There we go. Thank you to Mark Anthony, Zealand Zen, Omar Adams, Liza Jean, Zero Cool, Cynthia Webb, Lucy Miller, Friends, Ansel, Sushi, Hip Hop Independent, Protocol, Nick Taylor, Bill from the Hills, Pia Reason, Michelle A, Bob T, Payne Shreves, Dina Jones, and Catherine K. Dan Locker. Thank you for doing all the time. Definitely appreciate you. I'm pretty much done. Don't forget, this Saturday, I was saying Friday earlier, this Saturday, May 4th, 2019, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be interviewing Dr. Shiva again. His book came out today. We'll talk about the book and other things we didn't cover in the first interview. If you have not seen the first interview between me and him, check it out on my channel. Just search ABL Dr. Shiva, and then you'll be able to find it. Not Friday, Saturday night. Saturday, May 4th. Right here, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be a great interview. I have a post on a community tab on this page. If you want to ask a question, post it right there. You can also talk during chat through Super Chat. And I may respond to Super Chats with Dr. Shiva during the actual show. And you can also go on my social media, send me an email, whatever you want to do to give me questions for Dr. Shiva. I got a few going to ask myself. He'll probably be for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So that'll be pretty much it for tonight. And I'm about to bust in the flames over here in this house. So I'm going to get some AC on, get something to eat, and that'll be it. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.